Hello everyone, welcome. It is the 46th episode. We are edging our way to 50. We are getting there. And I'm not going to lie, I'm super excited about today's show because we've got Andy with us from Iconiq. I'm loving the fact he's here because it is an awesome figure and I cannot wait to see what he has to say. So as usual,
show, Andy.
Welcome.
Thanks. Yeah.
As usual, we're brought to you by Mr. Watto, so give him a look. He is the man. If you want 3D printed stuff, head sculpts, all that good jazz, give him a go. So let's kick things off with Mr. Peter. Take it away.
Are you gonna show the video?
No, I was going to let you jump straight in, mate, and then do the
okay,
video.
no problem. Oh yeah, brilliant. Okay.
We cut that bit. It's fine. Normally we're seamless.
Oh, okay.
Seamless.
Right. Cool.
Seamless.
Oh well, yeah. So again, just welcome to the show, Andy. Thanks for joining us. Obviously,
Thanks
you're a bit of a hot property at the moment because you've just announced your first figure release from Iconiq Studios. It's the American Psycho Patrick Bateman. So, just tell us a little bit about it. How he came about.
Well, it's been a long journey, to be honest. As you know, I've been doing YouTube for a long time and things like that. And really kind of where it all came from is the relationships that got built from that with Kai Studios, with 11, with Kit, with, just sort of like a myriad of people and artists and stuff like that. And it kind of, I got the opportunity when dealing with them to sort of go, well, do we want, is there an opportunity to go licensed, go and have these meetings, speak to people, and that, sort of brought that opportunity to life, and it wasn't just specifically American Psycho, it was what can we bring to life, and a load of meetings sort of took place from there, and American Psycho was one of those meetings that, sort of turned into something really special. In fact, I would say one of those meetings, it wasn't even planned. I literally turned around and the gentleman who was dealing with licensing was there, and I just ended up getting into a chat with him, and this is the figure. So there's been a bit of a journey from that random chat to this happening, but it's been amazing.
Yeah, so who owns the American Psycho? Is it one of the movie companies?
It's Pressman Films have the rights to this. So it's obviously when you deal with this, you go through like licensing agents, and there's loads of people in between, but everything has to go through that. Everything has to go through Star's agents. Everything has to be approved. It's why quite a lot of the time when people go, oh, why doesn't it have that? Or why does the person look this way? Or why hasn't that expression been allowed? It's because it hasn't been approved, and quite often, the artist will go something really special and extreme, and sometimes people want to pull back. I've been very, very lucky with this one that the studio have just been like, yeah, we'll support you and do whatever. It's been really, really good.
Does it go anywhere near Christian Bale at all?
Yes, it's what I'll say.
I always wondered that.
Things have to go through. Things have to go through agents. I can't really talk about the inner details of it, but it has to be approved by their team, and their team involves it being approved by people.
But that makes it even cooler in a way, doesn't it? That actor has seen that figure and gone, yeah, I like that. It's
so you don't get him on the phone saying anything.
Chris,
it goes through
are you all right with us doing this with some crazy hair? Yeah. No, I didn't have that call. That wasn't the thing. But I will say, and it's not just bigging them up. Everybody has been so nice when dealing with this figure. Some things, when you're dealing with licensing and stuff, can be really kind of daunting. Because you're dealing with big companies and movie studios and things like that. And this here, everybody's just been like super nice and really helpful all the way along. So it's been a really fun experience to do this one.
Cool. So in other words, it was a bit of a happy accident that this became the first full figure release.
A little bit. We, as I say, we got chatting to the gent who was who was handling this, and in between meetings, between a couple of other meetings, and when you just immediately get on with somebody, and you can, like us now, and you can just talk about this thing, and have a bit of laugh, have a bit of banter, that's exactly sort of how it came up. You know, there's other licenses we've got where we've gone through very, very official processes. This here was, as I say, something really simple where it just all gelled and was all really smooth, and they were happy with the work and stuff like that.
No, that's cool.
It's been really good.
Everything seemed to align.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the important question: how much is he, and where can we pre-order him from?
Right, so you can pre-order him at lots of places. So on iconiqstudios.com, which is our direct website, he is $629, and there's a shipping fee that's on top of that. I believe it's a flat rate of $15. I may be wrong. I'm just looking on the site there to try and get you a figure. But the one thing I will say is that although that you can buy from us direct, and some people might be like, well, you're in the UK, why are you doing it in dollars? Really simple. International people all over the place like to deal in dollars. So, you know, when we're selling to, you know, we've had customers that come from all over the globe, and so it's easier to deal with them in dollars than it is to be messing around with lots of different currencies and transfer rates.
Yeah.
If somebody's uncomfortable with that, we have retailers in the UK. So, you know, there's plenty of people like Good, Bad and the Robots and Emporium of Cool.
This
and,
man here.
you know, there's just a whole list. If you go to the Facebook page, it's all there. So you can see it all there. But yeah, again, there's guys in Europe, there's guys in Japan. So if your user base is Japanese, there is stores out there that are stocking. Obviously, Sideshow, Big Bad Toy Store, who have also been really amazing with this. So,
Cool. So you've got all the main,
you
the
can
major
get it
markets
anywhere.
covered.
Yeah, I think me and
Local
Steve.
co-op anywhere.
Yeah, me and Steve. Yeah, we did ours from the Good, the Bad, and the Robots.
Yeah.
We ordered it last night, so yeah, dead easy.
And I can see I can see Lee is actually listening. So hi, Lee.
He is.
Yeah, hi Lee.
Lee.
Yeah.
There he is.
Obviously, friend of the show. Lee's been on. Top guy. Brilliant place to order from. You know, so if you want to get one, hit Lee up. Definitely. The amount of accessories and two sculpts as well. How have you managed to kind of keep that at a reasonable cost? Because obviously, you know, we tend to be in a time now where Hot Toys gives us very little for our money. Definitely not two head sculpts anymore. So how did you feel about kind of what price point you wanted to hit and how you kept those costs reasonable?
The main thing with this has been working with people who know what they're doing. You know, industry people. So like 11 and Kai and everybody over that side of things know how much a mould costs, know how, you know, what the process is, have, you know, good contacts with factories, you know, to keep their work consistent. I mean, I'm guessing everybody's here has had an 11 head sculpt in their hand at some point in time. And you'll have seen what the paintwork's like, and it's consistent. And luckily, because I'm friends with those people, it means that you can, you know, when we went into this, you know, together as a thing, it was about making sure that consistency and that quality, we could bring that over to license. I mean, I know it sounds, you know, really horrible, but I kind of want them to be licensed forever, and that's it. You know what I mean? And we'll just keep going that route forever. You know, it's not just them helping out on something, that this is the route that we go. And so when it came to accessories, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's things here that we concepted that we've gone, do we want to include it? Do we not? A gentleman commented the other day on the Facebook group that I would love a coat with blood on it. And the issue with that is really simple. It's about how much would you be willing to pay on top? Where do you stop with the price? So we did have a concept of a blooded coat at one stage. And it was one of those where we went, right, we've got a choice what we can pull here. We can either pull the overcoat with the wires and all the lovely like suede material that it is, or we can pull the standard coat and only have the blooded one. And then it was like, but actually we don't get the cool scene with the holding the axe to his face and those sorts of things. And sort of the decision we all came together, you know, too, is that actually putting some blood on this coat isn't the hardest thing to do, even if you're an amateur customizer. But it's a nightmare to take it off. So it was the most sensible option, so we could give people the biggest range of items. And if somebody decides, well, I'm ordering two because I want two different looks and I'm going to bloody the coat or whatever, then they can do that. Or get a parted out coat. Not that I'm recommending people buy our figures to part them out, but you know what I'm saying. Whatever makes people happy, we're trying to give people the most.
Yeah, and I think it's the same argument with weathering. You get on other figures, people complain they're not weathered enough, but then you need to have a base there, and if you want to go ahead and weather it, it's not difficult, or you can get someone to help do it for you, and it just means that you're not alienating a certain portion of the market, because they don't want the bloody coat or the muddy trousers or something. So
as soon as you do that, you're limiting the scenes you can replicate, aren't you?
Exactly.
As it is, you can do so many different scenes from the movie.
Yeah.
You've got what I like about this is with the accessories and the coats and stuff is that you could, if you want, you could quite easily get the stuff to bash a whole nother figure, and it wouldn't cost that much more.
No.
Even if you didn't go for bits that people have parted out, there are options out there, which is great.
You can get some very
and then
reasonable
that was the
suits.
conversation.
Yeah.
He wears more than one suit in the film, so you get this suit. And if you want a second suit, there are suit options out there.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I'd love you to buy two, so you've got two options. But it's definitely one of those where it's about giving people as many options as possible. And it's like with the detachable blood effect on the axe. That was something very, very early on. I remember sketching out and going, "Can this be done?" And we went round about.
I've just noticed that. That's
Such a good idea. Like when you look at smaller scale figures, they do that all the time on stuff. But 6 scale, there's nothing. Like, all right, we might get a few jetpack flames or like a whistling bird here and there. But when it comes to actual like swords, axes, things like that, every other scale does it. But 6 scale, nothing. You don't get anything. So this was a fantastic idea.
I suppose the worry is that it would look too cartoonish, but I think you've done a good job here making it look realistic.
That was part of the reason, like Eleven and all those guys over there and Kai and the paint team, they were very insistent, because I was like, "Oh, make it really red," and they were like, "No. If he hits, there's going to be translucent parts to it. It's not going to be this solid wall of blood." So like, there's clear parts that bridge the gaps as it's speckled through. And then when I literally got it out the tin, because they had to send it across to me in a tin. And I took it out the tin for the first time, and I just remember staring at it for like 10-15 minutes and being like, "Wow, this is awesome." So it's really nice to see something that I sketched together on a piece of paper and then kind of horribly drew together in a Google document and went, "Can this be done?" And then you're holding it in your hand a month later. It's weird, but great.
Cool. So do you have kind of ultimate sign off on the various elements of this, or is it kind of a collaborative process?
Yeah, it is very much a collaborative process, because it's also the studio. You could do the most amazing thing in the world and take it to the studio and they go, "No, we don't like that." And this is what I'm saying, how awesome they've been. If you look at Christian Bale's face, like any person who exists, there is the odd crease here, the odd blemish there. That's how, we're all individual. That's how we all look.
Yeah.
And it's about trying to make it that realistic. So somebody's not 100% perfect. They look like the actor, not like I've made this perfect Ken doll that sort of resembles them. And sort of being allowed that leeway to be able to do it. So when you're doing that crazy face and he's got a really weird expression on his face, we've been allowed to play with that, and I really, I'm really grateful to be able to do that and be supported with it.
What I like about the normal it's not non-expression, but the normal plain face, is that in the film when he's going on about his routine, he puts so much stuff on that he's very smooth and very like well put together, and I think that comes across really well on the normal sculpts. Like it looks spot on. It shows a lot of thought's gone into. Actually, because you can get some figures that go the other way with it. Like I think of I was only saying to Pete the other day, the Sideshow Padawan Obi-Wan.
Because
the head,
one up,
the head's quite nice, but for some reason they use the really textured neck, so it goes from one extreme to the other. It goes from quite a nice head to an old man wrinkly ballsack neck like that. So it's nice that like it all translates. I really like it.
Yeah. Cool.
Well,
so so obviously it sounded like this one wasn't too difficult to kind of acquire the license and bring the figure to market. But how do you kind of go about, because obviously there's a lot of licenses that are all tied up with other companies
Yeah.
and things like that. So you kind of, for the future, is it a case of you having to kind of look and find out who hasn't got a license for something and try and find those niche markets?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. That's a really good question, because there's a lot of misconceptions about how licensing works, right? So there are certain things that are just off the table. Yeah, certain celebrities go, you just can't have my license, or they likeness, or they give you such an amount of money for their likeness that it's impossible to factor in for what you're doing. So they might say to you, I'm not naming anybody, but there's one individual who, he's between the 50 and 100k bracket for the likeness, and then wants a percentage on each item sold, just likeness. And then you've got the license and the percentages to pay on that, and then you've got to develop it and go through that entire process. It's a costly, forward-thinking process, to be able to do, and it just means that you've got to look at that. So, for example, there is also, for example, George Lucas was really smart because he tied everybody's likenesses into the contract for Star Wars. But you look at other productions, and there may be only one likeness tied in, but then everybody else is excluded from it. So then you think, well, why isn't that side character getting a figure made? Because they haven't got that locked down, and that person doesn't want a figure of themselves, And sometimes you get that with legacy people as well. When somebody passed away and their estate are like, I don't want somebody doing weird poses with my dead relative and stuff like that, and I can totally understand why. I respect anybody who says, you know what, I don't want to be this. I get that.
I blame the Python groups for that.
The things they do with the weird.
I'm not commenting, but I've been in this community long enough with Lee Ward to have sent packets of certain things that come in those boxes to each other randomly when you're sending a figure to somebody. It's one of them. Just chuck it in
Everyone's had some
randomly.
Python peen at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
I tell you, it does make you wonder what happened to the Molecule. The licenses that Molecule 8 got, and then they completely cocked up. And what are those now up for grabs again, or?
Well, it's one of the thing is with licenses, they have a certain amount of life, and if they're renewed, there is a lot of company. There's loads of stuff I could tell you, but I can't actually tell you on here. Where companies have taken a license and parked basically on it to stop somebody. And we're not on about the same company here. We're on about lots of little companies. We're on about companies who've never made a figure, have took the license for a thing and parked it in the hope that, like when you camp on a domain on the internet.
Right.
Yeah.
In the hope that, somebody comes to them and they collaborate and do this sort of thing.
They just pay the money and keep it.
There's a lot of it in it, and this is the reason that I really like some of the licenses we've been dealing with, is because all of them want their figures to get to market, because it's not just about, we get a figure and there's a percentage that we get in the end. Their figure, like this, got on Bloody Disgusting and a few other things recently, and and that says that's a big flare signal into the air saying, the American Psycho brand's still alive. Look at all these people that are interested in it, and it sort of reinvigorates the brand every time somebody does something cool with it. And I'm really proud to be part of that. But every time I see somebody else bringing something to life like that, it's a really good feeling to be able to see somebody, reinvigorating a brand and keeping it going. That's why I love when retro waves of figures and stuff like that come up. 'Cause I'm like, great, you've done this figure from a long time ago, and it's great to see it still live and kicking.
Obviously, we've all probably got some really niche figures that we'd love to have, represented on our shelves. How do you gauge whether or not a figure is going to be commercially popular enough to actually, because you're running a business here. This is your livelihood. It's not just fun. You've got to, know that character's popular enough that it's going to sell enough units that you can then move on to the next thing and the next thing. So, how would you kind of gauge that sort of decision?
There's a lot of market research that goes into. not trying to brag, and you guys could do the same thing, and so could a lot of people in this community. You know, we all know what figures that we see on a regular basis, or what customs we see, and things like that. But you've also got to take into account, just because you see it on Facebook or a group or a forum or whatever, that it's not. That doesn't mean that somebody's going to buy it. And so it means that there has to be a lot of Google searches, news story searches, stuff like that, to see what the analytics are behind stuff. And I know it sounds very cold when you're on about making a figure, and because it's about passion and about your passion about the project.
Yeah.
But there's some really weird stuff that I'd love in action figure form that I don't know how many people would buy. I don't know how many people would buy the main character from Upgrade, right? But I love the film Upgrade, and I would totally love to have, the figure, maybe even the little stem, full-size replica of the chip from his neck. But I don't know how many other people would. And that's the big balancing act that you've got to walk. So, obviously you can always aim for the sky and go, there's certain brands, I could sell Batman again and again and again and again, and you've got no problem with that, because it's Batman.
Yeah.
But there is other stuff where it's about weighing it up and doing the research.
That type of stuff tends to end up getting made unlicensed, doesn't it? So there's less risk.
That's all I can say to that.
That's what happens, isn't it?
Yeah. So do you have any plans for any more horror-based figures?
What can I say? I'm under an extremely heavy NDA for one horror-related project, and I mean probably the longest one I've ever had to sign in my life.
So the answer's yes.
Bearing in mind I used to work for the government, it's a long NDA. So but yes, horror. There is something horror that's in the future.
Excellent, because I think that's quite. It seems to be quite a popular market at the moment. There's been some really good figures coming out.
Yeah, it's more and more.
A lot of the old Sideshow ones that were fine for the time, but there's been some really good stuff now. So I think it's quite a good, quite a sort of hot line to be, getting involved with. Got a question here. How has the past, year and a half almost coming up, how has COVID affected Iconiq?
It's not been fun. Right now, I shouldn't be on this podcast. I should be in China. It's literally in my diary. Andrew in China. I'm not in China. And that's basically because of, all this. And the biggest issues are really simple. First of all, photos are garbage for stuff. You can send people photos and say, does this look okay? Does this look okay? Etc., etc. But you don't know until you've got it in your hand. No. And that's the biggest issue. That's the biggest issue. So you've got to go through that process of shipping things back and forward. And so a conversation that would be, if I was there, change that, move that to there, right, done, great. 2 minutes later, a couple of hours later, they've then fixed that, is now posting it to me overseeing something, writing an email back, posting it back.
It's just so time consuming, isn't it?
Exactly. So this figure was planned to be released a lot quicker, and as a result, it does mean that there might be certain releases that are closer to this than we'd planned, because we wanted to have a really long, this, then you get this, and so on and so forth. And obviously licensing timescales means that you've got to sometimes, adhere within a limit. So there will be other releases coming. But that's one of the biggest things, that not being able to just freely move around and get things sorted quickly has been the biggest thing. And obviously sometimes factories have to close when they're meant to be doing something, because there's an alert in the area. Simple as that.
Yeah. I think I forgot to ask you earlier. When's this figure planned to be released?
It's Q1, Q2, and the reason that sounds like 6 months, and it sounds like a massive. You don't know when you're releasing it. Anybody in this sort of industry or figure market knows what Chinese New Year's like. So if we drop this in January, you're not going to get it for a while, because it's going to be on a boat, and you know how long that's going to take over that February period. So it's far easier for us to have that, that window, so people aren't getting upset. If it does end off in Q2, that's where it is, basically. So that's why we've got Q1 to Q2 as a reason.
Okay, cool.
Makes
and
sense.
Do you have not that you can necessarily need to tell us, but does it have is there a set edition size, or will you just kind of keep making it while it's selling?
We're manufacturing to pre-order is the best way to describe
Okay.
it. So
Yeah.
there isn't plans for a reissue. There isn't. We deliberately not wrote limited edition. I've even had the conversation about potentially numbering it in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do we put a certificate in or whatever? We've had the conversations about that, but that's by no means a guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at the end of the day, it's not going to be one of these things that's available forever and that we're going to keep reissuing.
Yeah.
We've done it. There's the stuff. It's American Psycho. There you go.
Yep. So if you really want it bad, then get your pre-order in.
If you do a certificate or something, you should do it on the reverse side of the card. That would be awesome. That would
That's
be
a
awesome.
really good idea. I like that, and it's safe.
You can have that
stuff.
one.
Yeah, I'll have that
Yeah.
one. Thank you.
Yeah.
You watch. People get really upset though about the back being marked. It's not accurate now.
Yeah,
No, you'd have to
you
have
can't
two.
please everyone.
You'd have to have a two, one with that one without. We've got a couple of questions from the guys. Again, if you
Sure.
please let us know if you can't talk about them. But Danny Lee
Of course.
asked if you got any cowboy or western properties in the future.
Cowboy and Western properties not signed. I can say not signed. Doesn't mean we're not talking to people. That's all I
Okay,
can say
brilliant.
on that.
That's good. I think Mark's trying to fish around for the horror one to say whether is it a new film or an old film.
I can't say on
No.
in case I get sued for where I live.
No, that's
I'd like a bed to sleep in, Mark. I'm sorry.
it's fair enough. Look, Pablo says, how much for an autographed figure?
Autographed from by who? Like
Oh, yeah, of
random in the
course.
factory. I can probably do that for nothing.
Yeah.
You don't want my autograph, mate. I just recovered from a broken arm. I can barely write, so it's you don't want that.
Did you see? Did you watch? I think it was Small Talk the night after you were on After Dark. And
I didn't. I think I was physically away to go and post the American Psycho, and
yeah, bless him, because Dylan he said that he was starstruck having you on the
you've got a fan for life there, mate.
Yeah. What? Yeah, he's like I've watched his videos for years and I just couldn't. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm. So there you go, mate. You're more famous than you think you are.
Yeah.
Honestly, infamous is probably. I will say the funniest experience of my life was being stood in Hong Kong a couple of years ago, in secret base, having a chat with the team that I'm working with, and somebody walked up to me and went, "Excuse me, are you Andy from Keyboard Warriors?" In Hong Kong. I'm like, yeah. Hello, shakes hand. It was just I'm the other side of the earth, and somebody goes, is this you? And I'm like, yeah, it is. It's really, really powerful.
Wow.
It's weird how much this stuff gets out there, and it's great to be a part of it.
We dream of being recognised in the street one day, don't we, guys?
Which
for the right reasons. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be ready
right.
to owe me money. That was his next sentence. But
Yeah, for OFAC.
as long as it's not a dark alley.
Yeah.
So-
Hampstead Heath.
So are there? Obviously, you've had the Ali. You did the bust with the head sculpt.
Yes.
Is that with a view to having producing a full figure somewhere?
I
in the
will
future?
say that what I will say is if you go and look at the Instagram pictures or the older pictures from that,
Yeah.
and you look in the background of where there's the unpainted head, there may or may not be a body on the table.
Right. Fair enough.
That's the best way of announcing something without announcing it.
It's not that Adonis Creed body, is it?
I was going to say, yeah, we're going to.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. We're just shipping them out. That's it. He's got a really small head. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, it
What I
isn't.
thought was a really good idea with that is the bust part.
Yeah.
It makes such a difference being able to, particularly if you've got alternative heads and stuff like that, of having somewhere you can display that properly as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the idea. I mean, what I'm expecting to happen is there to be a massive surge on those Ali busts later on, if because the idea is that the bust was sort of a more neutral, peaceful kind of expression, whereas if you were doing a figure, you'd want a more boxing, get up off the
dynamic,
floor kind of face, and so the ability to then swap between the two, and also have something on your desk at work or whatever, was kind of the idea with that, and sort of the bust thing is something I find really interesting for, like you've said, for those alternate display options, but also at a reasonable price point, and I think that was what's quite important with it.
Yeah, it's something we're seeing more regularly now. I think some of the third-party, was it the Homelander figures are coming with them. I noticed the Predator Prime 1 statue that's got 4 different heads. I think they're giving you busts for that as well. So it does seem to be something that's becoming more popular, I think, which is good.
Just to answer Lee's question, yes, the beard is 100% a requirement to be on this podcast.
Yeah. And 50% oldness sort of shaved head thing.
Yeah.
50% has to be phonically challenged. Yeah.
Steve's isn't a beard. Steve's like, he shaved 2 hours ago. And,
it's kind of like
it.
a couple of days worth.
We know sort of privately chatting with you, you've got some other licenses that is there any that you could tell us about? Or are they all on NDAs at the moment?
I will say that there is one that you probably know about because you've seen the pictures of it, a certain person's head sculpt on there. So if you happen to say it, I'll confirm it. That I'm not leaking anything.
No.
A certain person from a video game.
Oh,
maybe.
yes, that's the one I was. Yeah, we might be talking a fighting game here. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I'm very excited about that.
That figure, honestly, I have been. If you don't know what we're talking about, go on to go onto the Iconiq Studios website and look at the future link stuff, because we sometimes leak little behind the scenes stuff because because I can't keep my mouth shut. That's what it is. And I will say that the couple of things are that the collaboration that's going to happen on that is going to be something that the industry is going to look at, because there's an amazing collaboration with that, and it's one of, I remember testing elements of that figure in my house for weeks to make sure, for quality assurance and stuff like that. Because that's what I do. I literally put things in poses and whatever in the house and see how, does this hold up? Does it,
just as you walk past
over
it,
time, etc.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I've just not been excited. In fact, just a couple of people have come to my house and gone, "Oh, what's this?" and looked at it and gone, "Oh my god, I love it." So it's definitely Somebody just said in the comments, Hadouken. Yes, you may be right. But I've never been so excited over something that we've tangibly worked on. It's really exciting.
I'm very excited about that. I think that nobody's really done that justice, and certainly not in that scale. It's not been done if it's 1/6 scale. There's been some nice other things, but nothing that I've ever wanted to kind of spend my money on. But this definitely. And is it planned that it's a gateway to more figures from that license?
Yeah, it's a full license.
Nice,
I'm a big believer in, where possible, there's a license. If there's a license with a cast of characters that are, no disrespect to American Psycho, but I'm not sure how many people would buy a Paul Allen. Now, if I get inundated with my email with 100,000 people saying that they want a Paul Allen, I'll look into it. But I don't think that's going to be a thing. Whereas I think having the wide line of that line will work.
You've got Dean there. Look at the backdrops on that figure. I believe he may have had something to do with that. Yeah.
He might. I will say they were absolutely amazing to deal with, because a lot of these photos, I mean, obviously there is certain bits where there's photo work in the background and stuff, but a lot of you who've seen the trailer and stuff, that's literally a picture on my table on my review setup that is in the trailer, not messed around with or anything like that. So the figure you've seen is the figure I've took pictures of. And that's the beauty of it. So I'm very lucky to have done most of the photo. I can't take credit for the really good laid out one with all the items nice and neatly laid out, but there's a lot of things like on this screen with the desk one and the one where he's holding the axe up to his face. In fact, the 4 on the right here I took.
Yep.
So
wow. Yeah. Danny says here, looking forward to the bigger odd shaped characters. Yeah, I mean that would be some challenges with bodies and things like that. So that will be definitely be something interesting.
It's been fun, but it's been exciting. It's about not we haven't just dragged that bootleg Adonis Creed body out the shed.
No.
You'll see later. Yeah. I can't wait till we get to that. But yeah, we haven't done that. Yeah. So yeah.
Bought a shed load of M35 Viking bodies.
Yeah, just a default body. Definitely not that.
No. That's awesome. Well, that's kind of the end of the ones I've got. Questions I've got written. You guys got anything more you want to ask Andy?
I think it's probably worth having a look at the trailer for this beautiful figure.
Definitely.
While we've got 23 people who are probably itching to see it, let's play it, and then take it from there.
Yep.
I cannot tell you how much of a good idea doing the trailer for it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah,
you
love it.
Don't see it at all, do you?
No.
It's the most fun collaborative thing that we got to do because like the guys who do like a lot of our digital art, we've obviously got Dean and Kevin from Backdrops and Bases who did that, but we have people who do our digital art as well, and Hugo and Max, they're just insanely talented, and like, so I remember one thing, where there's the zoom in on the guy and it turns as he's got the axe.
Yep.
I remember literally getting the photo on my screen and taking a video on my phone and going, can we do this? Can we do this here? And then they came back an hour later and were like, yep, there you go. And it's been such a fun experience. And also massive thank you to Marco Ria, who did the music for us.
Okay, yeah.
That's all him, and
really?
One of the community as well.
Oh,
yeah,
that's amazing.
And he's just but the best compliment for his music was the studio went, "You haven't taken this from the film, have you?" And we're like, "No, we've commissioned it. It's this. This is the music." So he did an amazing job, and I'm really, really proud to have been part of it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I like the fact that you've got some sort of tongue-in-cheek little comments on there, and I like on the full spec it says does not include a reservation at the dossier.
I can't take any credit for that. A colleague of mine, Luke, who worked on a lot of the marketing materials, he's one of those that's watched the film a million times. And he went, I want to do this, I want to say this, I want to say... There's like there's a couple of lines in the trailer where he sort of twists the thing. There's the "don't just look at it, click it" line, which, is obviously the real line in the film's slightly more obscene, but if you've watched it a lot, you'll know where it's from.
Yeah.
It's just little things like that excite me and I enjoy.
It's the bit with the raincoat I like. Is that a raincoat? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good. Really, really good.
Thanks,
cool.
man.
So, I mean, like I said, we pre-ordered ours last night, me and Steve, and I'm so looking forward to this more than most figures I've got on pre-order, and I've got a shit ton next year that I'm stressing a little bit about how the fuck I'm going to pay for it all. But this is one that will definitely stay on that list because you don't. It's different. That's what I like about it.
And I imagine that the packaging is going to be quite special as well, isn't it? To go with the quality of this.
Oh yeah, I've seen we've got the concept art.
Yeah,
it's been approved. They were really happy. We were really happy. Mm-hmm. I'll say it's very in keeping with the movie aesthetic.
Wow,
that's the best.
Cool.
And when we can show it, we will. And what the plan with all this journey is, and you'll notice, like on the Facebook page, we do a lot of talking back to people. Doesn't mean I can answer everybody, because I do have to sleep sometimes and things like that. As long as it's possible, I'll you know, if I see a notification and whatever, and I'm free at that moment, I will try and answer things. But one of the things that was really important for me is having that engagement and a lot of that behind the scenes stuff. So you'll see over the last few days we've put little bits out, like the magnetic raincoat video and stuff like that, to show people how things work.
Yeah, that's a nice touch.
And when things do, when it's released and there's more behind the scenes stuff, I will show people stuff, because I know when I first started collecting, there was a lot of mystery around how things were done. The figures just came out and people go, well, why can't this be done that way, or why didn't it include this? And you can kind of explain that with behind the scenes work. So I'm always going to keep one foot in the community with that wherever possible. You know, it does mean it's cut down a lot of my reviews and the things that I do, because it's not really fair for me to review other people's products when I put in my own out. I can't say, oh, I hate this figure because I've got my own. You know, it's a bit poor taste, I think, and a bit unfair. So I think what will probably happen is a lot of my video content and a lot of the video content from like the site will probably become very, very similar, and it'll be a lot of behind the scenes and explaining and answering questions and stuff like that going forward.
I think it's great. I mean, I saw the video for the coat, and I think it builds hype for the figure, and also because you've been in the community so long and people know you for your reviews and the fact that you're a collector as well, I think that builds confidence that this figure is there. It's a labour of love as well as a business venture, but you want to make sure that it's the figure that you would want on your shelf. It's not just a company just trying to make money and put a mediocre product out there.
It's a figure made by a collector, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's really important.
Yeah, and I think it shows.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
thank you. I appreciate that, and I will say that everybody. I remember when we first dealt with Kai, because he wasn't in the initial conversation for it. It was 11 and all the people involved in that process, and Kit and other people, and he found out we were doing it because he was friends with him, and it was immediately, I love this movie, can I get involved? And that was the thing, having a lot of people that collaboratively like the project makes it a damn sight easier to work and to understand all the elements that come to make it a thing.
I think it's great when you see, and I've seen it with some other recent kind of ventures where people that have been doing their own sort of work, either leather work or metal work, that there are these collaborations coming together now. It's brilliant to see people that things they've started on a very small scale, one-off pieces for people, that actually that skill's now being recognised, and it's being collaborating with other artists, and they can actually kind of start making a living from it. So I've really liked to see that in the community recently.
Yeah,
and you see names pop up, and you're like, oh, I know them. I've spoken to them. Yeah. It's good. It's good. I like it, and it's good for the industry.
The ultimate dream is to kind of make a living off of your hobby. Like that would be amazing.
Yeah, it is that. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of spreadsheets which you just don't want to ever deal with. Like there's a lot of stuff like that where you go, oh yeah, it's going to be playing with action figures. I'm going to get to design this, and you're like, but now there's this Excel document, and I need to merge this with that. That's the issue. But it is great. I feel really privileged to be able to be involved in this. Full stop. And it's exciting, and I just hope to be able to keep on doing it, and I'm really grateful for everybody else that's supported me and everybody involved in the venture. So thank you.
Yeah, well, I think you've picked a great figure to start with, and hopefully, people will get on the back of this and give you the kind of momentum to go forward and bring up some more cool figures out.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's all about cool stuff and stuff that I want, and then being able to afford to do weird projects that only I'll buy. So this is a extremely limited piece that we're doing because I want one.
One quick question: Is the Walkman that he uses, does it have a brand on it in the film, or is it just a kind of generic?
No. We can't brand. You've got to be really careful with licensing because you can't brand individual items.
No, so, but I think in the film you don't really see it anyway. Do you? You see the headphones.
No. No, it's it's one of those things that you've got to watch. A lot of people don't realise this, but if you do you remember? Does anybody remember the Hot Toys Spider Punk?
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
So the original version photos, flying V guitar, very Gibson-like.
That's right.
And it's even in the video game. But when they made the figure, then the guitar comes out, it's a completely different shape, and they had to do different photos. Now, my suspicion is that a guitar manufacturer may have suggested to them that it looks a little bit like theirs. And that's why that changed. So that's why there's always the disclaimers on stuff, product may vary, because if somebody comes to you, you've got to make those changes. And obviously, where possible, you reach out to people. Like there's an Ali thing where we reached out to a certain sporting company, and they were like, yeah, just use our logo, it's cool. Here's the paperwork to say you can. Wicked, thanks, pal. But then there's other companies who obviously, yes, will want this much to license this pair of shoes or whatever, and it becomes a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, it's like the Hot Toys Back to the Future figures. Like there's so much branding in all the Back to the Future films, but the figures don't come with any of it on because there's so much of it, isn't there?
Yeah, it'd be cost £1,000 each if they had to pay all the different licenses. Yeah.
Yeah, people made a killing out of the stickers.
Yeah.
Of course they did. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think that was amazing. I'm not going to lie. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I could probably talk about this figure for another hour or so. But I think we need to move on. So
We've got to get to that Adonis figure.
We have to get. That's it. That's all I want to get to now. Is that fucking horrendous Adonis with the massive body.
Talking about that as we have this.
Oh yeah. In a completely different way though. Yeah, exactly. So,
thanks a lot for that, Andy. And feel free to stay on as long as you like, mate. Just give
no,
us a shout
absolutely. I'll stay on for a bit until I have to answer some emails and stuff, because this is the thing. People go live at different times when we're all over the world. So
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. We've discovered that with working with these American and Canadian people that everything's at like 2 a.m. So we feel your pain. Yeah, so cool. Let's start off then with
new releases.
So we have the Hot Toys Rescue at 278 quid from Hong Kong, or £302 from Sideshow, which is obviously including plus shipping. I do not have a horse in this race, if I'm honest. I don't. No. Do not give a shit. Do not give a shit in the slightest. What do you reckon, Andy? Is this one for you?
I have got this on late. So what I do with figures that I don't need immediately is I sometimes late pre-order them from Hong Kong, so they're then substantially cheaper. This is on a late pre-order for that reason. I would have loved if in the movie this was silver and black like Rescue in the comics, because I'm a big comic guy, and that would have been like, oh my god, I need it day one. But because it's purple, I'm like, well,
I think it's even lilac, isn't it?
I'll have it for substantially cheaper, thanks.
Yeah, the problem is I ditched a lot of my Marvel stuff. The only Marvel figure I've got is the Spider-Man in his pajamas. I've got no other Marvel stuff, so I suppose if I had one of the newer Iron Men, maybe, but the Marvel train has kind of sailed for me. I'd be more interested in comic Marvel stuff than I am, the cinematic universe at the moment.
I can see the quality there, can't you?
Yeah, and that's not to say this is a terrible figure in any way, shape, or form. No. It's just not for me. But yeah, it is what it is, and it looks okay, but slightly underwhelmed, if I'm honest. But this next one, I have pre-ordered because I can't help myself. So this is the Hot Toys. I do love a Trooper. This is the Hot Toys 501st Trooper. It is 248 quid from Hong Kong right now, or 185 quid from Sideshow, obviously plus fees and stuff. And on Sideshow it's out October to December, but it's out in Hong Kong right now. So yeah, I pre-ordered this because I had some Sideshow points, and Sideshow just went to me, do you want a $25 voucher? Fuck it, have it. So I think all in all, they were just like, fuck it. So all in all, this was 130 quid for me. So I was like, I've got the Sideshow version, which I'm quite happy with. I've just got to tighten the body up. So I figure, well, plus postage and fees and stuff, it won't be too bad, and I can plonk it next to my other 501st. But I like this. I like the 3 sculpts. I like all the weapons. To me, that the sculpts aren't such a big deal because I can print them. So I've just gone for the standard, so I can do the phase 1 because that's what I've already got on mine. But yeah, I like it, and apparently they've improved the body from the Cody, which had a few articulation problems, which again, I think it's because they decided that they were going to put a great fuck off undersuit on a figure that didn't really need it. Which meant, I think I saw a post today where someone had cut away large sections of the undersuit, and the articulation was improved to no end. So that might be something that I need to do on Cody.
I'm surprised. It looks pretty thick, doesn't it, on those pictures? That's undersuit.
Yeah, but I'm up for this, definitely.
So
definitely.
the deluxe one is the extra helmet. Is it the phase 1?
The deluxe, you get the phase 1 helmet, the Ahsoka helmet, you get the rocket launcher, and the backpack, I believe.
Okay.
So yeah,
it's
worth for an extra 20 quid, I think it was. For that,
definitely.
So yeah, I think that's worth it. Anyone else gonna grab it, or am I the only one?
No, not for me.
Clone Wars fan, but yeah, it's a nice looking figure. Though.
I haven't even watched Clone Wars yet fully. So
what, the series or the film?
The animated.
Both.
The last. Do you remember the weird anime Clone Wars that was before the CGI one? I had that on DVD and I watched that. But I think I've watched 2 or 3 episodes of the CGI Clone Wars, and I need to sit down and force myself through season 1 because I know it gets better, but it's just when you've not got time to force yourself through something you're not enjoying is difficult.
Yeah. If you go online, the people have almost made like playlists because it all jumps out of order. They've made playlists of like the important story arcs, so you can dip in because they're all on Disney Plus now. You can just dip in and pick out the decent ones because there are some proper fucking rotten episodes.
Yeah,
like
I think
there's Jar Jar Binks ones and that, which no one wants that. No one wants that. But yeah, definitely worth giving it a watch for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I'll have to do the same at some point, but I've tried and not and ended up not getting into it, so I give up again.
It took me a while. I did the same with the first series. I watched a few and went, not for me. And then I think because I'd literally ran out of stuff to watch, I forced myself and then ended up loving it. Particularly the last series, the last lot that they did was particularly good with Maul and Ahsoka coming back and that. So yeah, well worth it. Well worth a watch. Well worth it.
I find it weird because I love animated stuff, but I find it really weird that Wall's there.
Yeah, and again, I think because for me, if they just done it in a particular order, great. But I'm not a fan of when TV shows jump in and out of order. Like with The Witcher, it really took me a while. I mean, that's amazing, but it took me a while to get used to the fact that actually this isn't going from A to B. It's going A, Z, H, Q. Yeah. And then to C, and then finishing off at Z. So, yeah, it does take a bit to get used to. But once you do, you'll love it. And, you will absolutely love it. But next up, we have something I'm super excited for that I really wish I'd fucking ordered now. It's the X06 Data for 185 quid. Kicking myself that I didn't get this because it wasn't that expensive when I saw it, and now I really want it. More. I know, but I love the second sculpt on this. I love that second sculpt with the part human hair and
the flesh.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what else they do with this line because this looks fantastic.
I need TV show stuff, really, because obviously QMX promised it and never delivered. So hopefully these guys will.
Yeah.
Well, you know who is X06, don't you?
Yeah.
It's Nanjing.
So obviously it's Nanjing. So it's XQMX. It's going to be I saw that Data's head sculpt, I think, on a TV show body in 2019 when I was on a meeting with him. Because I went to scout places out in China, and we got to see a lot of the Star Trek stuff and weird unreleased stuff that was there, and you know, he lives and breathes Star Trek for real. So you know, it's a nice figure, and it's really cool. I mean, I love First Contact. It's Die Hard in space with space zombies. So, what do you want?
First Contact's probably one of my favourite films out of the whole lot. It's so good.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Dude,
yeah,
if I get the bridge crew from First Contact, happy as pig and shit. that would be amazing. And a queue. I want a queue. Like we said the other day, I want a fucking queue. Give me a queue.
Well, I've seen his queue. I've seen his queue. I don't know if it's it was a personal thing that he made for himself like ages ago, and I think if you go through his Facebook, it's on there. Like, and he took it to shows and stuff, and took photos with it in places and whatever. And it's really nice. So I hope he does that and puts that out, because it'll be great.
Q would be perfect to do as an accessory pack. So you just get the head sculpt and a few accessories, and then you could literally put it on whatever you want. Like further down the line, once you've had a few more kind of uniformed figures and stuff come out. Because he just, you know, other than the Iconiq, like first time you saw him with like the big robe and stuff, like he pops up wearing so many different things. He could almost be like a Stan Lee type thing, where you could put him on most things and it would look right.
Yeah, but he's quite often on Picard's in Picard's suit, isn't he, with the captain's pips, just to rile him up. But yeah, this is great, and you know, we've talked about QMX before, and I've been invested in the original series set, and I was very upset and disappointed to see what happened to that line. And I ended up selling them on, and I felt bad for Nanjing, because, you know, clearly, like we were talking about with you, Andy, he had all the passion and he knew what he wanted, and he was making these figures look amazing, but clearly the company he was working with didn't feel the same and didn't have the same passion and understanding of the subject matter. Whereas hopefully now, where he's kind of more in control of it, that actually this thing will, you know, go on.
I hope so. I've got the TNG Picard, which is, I still think it's a great figure, but I want some more TNG crew to go with it.
I'm always tempted by Picard
with a chair.
It's so good, mate.
Riker with a chair, that's all I want. So I can have him flicking his leg over the chair to sit down. That's all I want.
Bearded or non-bearded?
Oh, bearded.
Oh, yeah.
Full-on beard. Because full-on beard and coiffed hair. That's all I want.
I want full-on beard, I want the chair, and I want a saxophone. That will do me for him. That would be brilliant. So, for sure. Saxophone. For sure. Yeah, there's definitely, and I want a Ferengi as well. I think a Ferengi would be cool if they branched into the aliens, kind of did the main ones. But that would be Give me a Ferengi, or if they go down the route of DS9, like Quark and things like that, would be cool. Yeah, I mean, there's so much they could do, so much they could do. I just want them to.
About Star Trek. Star Trek's like Star Wars. There's so many they could go. Yeah, so many directions they could go.
Yeah, I'm amazed we don't see more customs.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
for sure. I would definitely go for a bit of Rafa Khan. So as much as I would love to sit and listen and talk about Star Trek figures, I suppose we're going to have to move on. Yeah. So let's have a look. Oh, I know. Let's have a look at what's coming up.
Coming soon.
That seamless interaction. Seamless. So look, we might as well start with this one. The chrome-clad elephant in the room, the Mandalorian and Grogu set. This will set you back £244 for the standard, or £278 for the deluxe. I've got some cards on table. I have pre-ordered it. But I want to know what you guys think about it.
Well, I've pre-ordered it as well.
I've not pre-ordered it, only because I can't decide which version to order. So I am going to pre-order one of them. I'm probably leaning towards the standard, because
I went with standard.
Yeah, I don't think I need the Boba Fett extras.
Yeah.
I I haven't ordered it. I own the previous one. I own a really nice custom set that I did a review of with the knee pad and the shin pad and stuff. And I think it might have been DBR Customs. I'll need to check that. But so I don't know if I desperately need it. Also, I do worry about the chrome over time because it's. I've been in this long enough to remember Captain America's electroplated shield in the first Avenger.
Yeah.
And that worries me. And that's not me throwing any shade at another company. I'm talking about this purely as somebody who will buy it for me, because my house is literally full of the things, as we can see. So it's purely I worry about the longevity of it. And I think if I'd had a choice from a creative point of view of going the shiny version with a Risk or the matte one that I know is going to last a lot longer, I'd have gone matte from a creative point of view as well.
You see, I think Phasma is a good example of what they can do. And that's lasted, and I don't know of a great deal of them that have flaked. So I've ordered this as well. I've ordered the standard because
me too. Yeah.
I don't really, like I said, I don't want the bobber stuff.
No.
The picture of him holding absolutely everything, I can't see people really displaying it like that. It's kind of like I need to use every single accessory the fucker's ever come with.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's funny because I passed on the first one, I passed on the second one, but then with this one, with the head sculpt, the dark saber, the spear, to me, it's the complete package of what I'd want from it. So. That's why I've gone.
I mean, this reminds me of when you buy a game console at launch and you get the big fat one, and and that's what it is. That's the last release. This release is the new slim model that comes with free games thrown in. That's the comparison for me. And obviously, this is great for a new collector. If you're a new collector, this one's the one. But for somebody who has it might not necessarily be worth the jump.
It's blown the community up a little bit, and I think I'd agree slightly with Colin here, where he's saying the controversy's been a bit too overblown. But on one hand, I think I can see why you'd think that. But to me, that, like we said before, this is a perfect example. It could have been an accessory pack because the market's there. I mean, the thing is, this is going to come out in like 2 years' time if we are lucky. I can sit here and enjoy my Mando all day long for 2 years, not a problem. So I think that the comments that I find are just ridiculous. The ones where I go, I'm so glad I waited. So glad I waited. Well, by the time this comes out...
Wait forever.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, by the time this comes out, Series 3 Mando will be on the cards because Series 3 will be out. And everyone will go, oh, I can't wait for that one. Oh... And knowing Disney, they will probably just make the undersuit a slightly different colour and probably change out the other pad or something. Most of the accessories
4 by then.
Yeah, well, most of the accessories you can get with this, people have been printing for quite some time. So most people have the Series 2 thigh pad, knee pad. I mean, I did those so I bought my new printer, and just off of those alone, in the space of about 3-4 weeks, I paid off my printer. That's how popular they were. So most people have these accessories already. I wouldn't suddenly go on the group straight away and start selling stuff. The only thing I think this is genuinely missing that I don't think you can get, I don't know if the Grogu pack comes with it. I can't remember. Is the silver pram? That's the only thing I probably would have liked. I would have liked to see that instead of the bobber stuff. Because that would have been a better kind of pairing. So Scott says they'd make a lot of money with an accessory pack because I'm sure collectors would buy I can't see the rest. Would buy them, I'm assuming.
It's just weird, isn't it? Because they've teased an accessory pack for Return of the Jedi Luke, which never came to fruition. They don't seem very keen on it, apart from that was it the Mark 50?
I think that one tanked, though. I think that was the problem. I can still pick that
really
up in Hong Kong today but I can pick that up in Hong Kong today for retail, and that's the problem. Is I think, how many times do you get bitten by it? Because I think they did the accessory pack back in, Iron Man 3 days with like the extra table and the random helmet and the one that actually made your Mark 7 better. They did all that stuff back then, and yet again I don't think they did a massive amount on those. So it's like, how many times can you do it and get bitten by it until people catch on?
I still can't believe they did that. In the pictures, they said, here's the old one, and here's the new one that's even better. They actually put it in. I mean,
they are tone deaf as a company. Like, they don't seem to understand what fires people up, and 100% that was going to fire people up. Look at the old piece of shit that we've given you, that you pretty much only got like a week ago for some people, and look at this, like. Yeah. So, and don't get me wrong, like, I understand that there's been delays, and we have to take into account what's gone on the last couple of years with COVID and that's affected people getting their figures and stuff. So, I know people who have literally only just got this, and then a new one is announced. But we have had an exceptional couple of years. I'm expecting things to start to calm down a bit, but I get why people are pissed off. But at the same time, you could see it coming a mile off. I mean, I like the sculpt. The unmasked sculpt, I think, is good. And the thing is, if you have the other Mando, you've got more display options now. You can split all the accessories. I mean, that fucking sand base, though, is never going to die. I think we are just going to get that with everything.
We've got 500,000 of them made, and we just got to get rid of them all.
The one that made me laugh out of all of them was the crate one for Crate Luke, where it was just randomly sprayed. It was exactly the same, but it was like somebody spilled some jam on it and then spilled some sugar on it and just kind of shook it off and it'll be fine.
Yeah. The thing that pissed me off about that was in the film, they made a point of him not leaving footprints. And then they gave you a stand
because he was a
with
Force
two giant footprints, and you're like, put your fucking tin of spray paint away and fuck off. Like, this is ridiculous.
Do you reckon there's one lad in the office they go, right lads, we're designing this, what do you think about the base? And he just pulls out the sand base and goes, this one for every figure, no matter what figure it is.
IG-11,
honestly, it's mad. They are just going to, they use it for everything, absolutely everything. A new Matrix figure, sand base.
But not the one that got me was they didn't, with the Nightmare Batman reissue for Justice League. The perfect figure to give you that fan base.
And they just went, no,
we'll give him the ramp that he never stands on in that suit. That's exactly the one you want.
Those stands that are really awkward for people with probably the most popular display case known to man. We're going to give them more of those. It's fine. It's just fuckers. So to go with this, if you really want it, there's the swoop bike as well, which is going to set you back £211 from Sideshow, out about the same time, October to December. I have files for this that I can print, and I just haven't pulled my finger out and done it. But to me, I don't know why they didn't give you the option of a 2-pack and this on its own, because if it was in a 2-pack, I'd probably be tempted. But I don't feel like spending 2 lots of shipping.
With the blurgs, didn't they? And
odd. The blurgs. They've done it with the Scout Trooper. They've got President. They've done it before with stuff. So I find it odd.
I might know the reason for this, or I might have a suspicion about this. So when you are shipping out of Hong Kong, obviously in containers it doesn't really matter, but for shipping certain things internationally, if you hit a 2 kilogram limit, things go up massively price-wise. So if that bike is light enough on its own, and bobber, and like the standard bobber, for example, standard Mando is light enough on his own, it might be that their shipping limits are a little bit better, whereas the blurg was always going to be heavy.
So it's a good point, because that's one of the reasons why I went with the standard, because where I ordered it from, they were estimating that the standard would be under 2 kilograms and the deluxe would be over.
Exactly.
Good show.
And they don't know what the price would. They might have to charge a lot extra for that. So I went, I'll go standard. But it's a good point, Andy. Yeah, definitely.
So Colin thinks it's a bit of a waste of Mando if you pose him on the bike. But then if you've got the Series 1 and you've got the thigh and knee pad on it and you've got the new one, it's a good option to plonk on it.
Depends how many Mandos you got.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting. Yeah, this by the time this comes out, there'd be like 20 of the fuckers.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've got IG that can sit on this as well, so it's not like it's going to solely be just the Mando. But like I said, I've got files for this because if you look at it, it's not that complicated. You've got the main body and the front section. Unfortunately, the files I bought, the guy was like, "Yep, it's 1/6 scale." And when I loaded it up and measured it, I was like, "No, this is not 1/6 scale; it's more 1/4." So I need to figure out. I need to scale it to the right size and send it over to my mate, who will print it out in something a bit tougher than resin. But it's on the big list of stuff, and I'm way behind on stuff, so it will be a while. But yeah, I was, like I said, 2-pack. I'd be all over this. Singly, not so much. Again, it comes with another Grogu, so that's another one.
Yep. He's a smiling one because he's enjoying his little ride on the swoop bike.
They're going to come down in price soon because they're still selling for like 60, 70 quid, aren't they? But before long, everyone's going to have about 6 of them.
There's so many of them,
What I'm genuinely surprised no one's got one and recasted it and just made a third-party Grogu.
That's bound to happen, isn't it?
I'm so surprised it hasn't happened already. When people were paying like hundreds of pounds for a £30 Christmas ornament, I was just so surprised no one had got hold of one and just ripped it off. It really did surprise me. But yeah, so that was the swoop bike. And then, do we think that given the 5.0, given the clone trooper that we saw, do we think that this is on the cards, a reissue of the of Anakin?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Especially with the Obi-Wan show coming.
It's because
if they change the base, because if they I think there's a legality thing, because when it's a Toy Fair exclusive, I think they'll sign something with the Toy Fair. So when they reissued the Nightmare Batman, I think that's why he was in with the Superman, because they could say, "Oh, it's a totally different pack." Yeah. Oh, by the way, the base is different. Look, it's from a different movie now, even though all the accessories match BVS and not Justice League. Like
they'll just get a sand base and paint it red like Mustafa.
Yeah, there you go. So that kid will go, "I've got the base, lads. Bring it back out," and that's it.
Give us the red spray paint.
They'll just sit there going, "How can we do this?" Well, I have a cunning plan.
Make it lava.
We're going to have to name this guy, this fictional guy with the sand bases. We're going to have to name him.
Yeah, it's like, where's Jeff? Oh, here you go. Jeff and his sand. Yeah, there you go. Bang.
But yeah, I think the prices this is going for on the aftermarket now, they'd be silly not to.
Yeah, I think if you look at the troops, so we've had the new trooper, we having Rex soon, and they've also shown and put up for pre-order the Clone Wars Anakin. When I've painted Anakin head sculpts before, the hair is just four bits that glue together and clamp around the head. While they are knocking out a load of shorter head ones, which are just going to be a slightly shorter back piece, they might as well run a few of these off. I don't think it would be that much more work for them for the amount of money that they would get, because they obviously keep an eye on the secondary market, and when you got fuckers putting these up for like 900 quid, why wouldn't they? Like it's like having a license to print money and not doing it.
Yes, as soon as the Obi-Wan show is out as well. I mean, if you've seen Hayden Christensen recently, he hasn't aged a day since episode 3. Yeah. So they don't even need to change the sculpt. They can just keep reissuing this figure, but even when that show's out.
That's it.
I heard they had him cryogenically frozen. It wasn't because he didn't have any work. They just popped him in the freezer for later. Just popped him out.
Yeah.
Carbonite.
Yeah.
That's where he's been.
I think if they do, I'd definitely be pre-ordering it at a sensible price.
Yeah, and look, I think the first time I remember this properly happening was Doctor Strange and Infinity War, because I still believe that when they saw that Doctor Strange was on secondary market for like 800 quid, they're like, we can put these back out. And I think they turned that head sculpt around very quickly, because everybody was like, we're not doing Doctor Strange, there's no way it's coming for this, and then bang, it was out with a load of random accessories, and you know, and I think when you're Hot Toys and you've got that relationship with Marvel, I don't think it's hard that they'll have blanket licenses that include a load of everybody.
Then they
basically,
did the
if they
Mark
want to.
47 as well. That was £800, wasn't it? And they just thought, oh, we'll reissue the Mark 47, and then they did John Wick.
I bet they've got a load of watch lists on eBay, and as soon as things hit a limit, they're like, right, we're, that one.
Do it. Yeah.
One.
Jeff, get the bass out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, they must have a watch list of just what's creeping up, and then crack it out, get it redone. I mean, the thing is, we've had this conversation before, and they're not numbered pieces, so
No.
they can just go, right, chuck another 500 on, away we go.
I don't even think they write limited
bought
edition on the
47.
box anymore, do they?
No.
No, I
They
think
used
they just
to.
put
They used to write limited edition. I don't think they do that anymore.
No, I think
It
they
says-
just
it says
put
exclusive,
collectible
doesn't
figure,
it?
I think.
Yeah, I think the recent Toys Fair ones say exclusive rather than limited edition, don't they?
Right. Yeah.
For about 900 quid a piece, they should be fucking exclusive. Fucking price of them. So yeah, I reckon we're going to get one. I just think it's a matter of time, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then while we're on about Loki, so this was shown the other day, a little preview of Sylvie and Loki. I said I was out of Marvel, and then they just show something like this, which gets me ridiculously tempted. I'm hoping these come out really well, because if they do, and I'm hoping it's a 2-pack, don't make me order 2 separate figures. Just give me a 2-pack of these two would be good, because technically, it's spoilers, it might be the same person, but it's worth. I quite like the program, and I think I'd quite like a Loki, because he's probably my favourite bad guy.
I'm still
I
waiting for
really
the
like.
Endgame one.
So, same here, mate. Same here. I'm in the same boat. I'm really excited about this one, and I'm so glad that they did this costume.
Yes,
Because I have a thing. I have a thing with certain with certain films where they'll pick a costume. They'll pick the big hero costume at the end that they wear for 2 minutes. But actually, I want the cool other costume that they were wearing for the
like
majority
Falcon
of the movie.
Yeah.
I would have really liked that red Falcon.
Yeah.
I'd have bought both, but that's the problem. I really, it's like I wanted US Agent from that show. I want some of the ancillary characters and stuff, and seeing Sylvie there, I hope it doesn't become a yellow jacket and just not get released. I hope it comes out. So.
Yeah.
It's still
Although
been
it's going to be in series
all
2,
these years
isn't it?
later.
Yeah, it probably series 2. They'll do that figure.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised that more third parties hadn't made at least a clothing set for his like brown jacket and suit and stuff, because if you've got one of the other Loki scopes, you could get away with using it. So I was surprised, very, very surprised, but I was glad for this, because it will drag me back in.
Yeah, and I also wonder how many parts that this might come with to make it perhaps other appearances in the show and stuff like that. You know, I mean, like there's a bit in the trailers where he's wearing a certain costume, and I wonder if that's just a jacket he's wearing, but everything else is the same. I'm trying not to spoil stuff people haven't seen the trailer, but it makes me wonder if, they'll probably get 2 looks out of this figure potentially, which would be really cool.
Yeah.
So that was Loki, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well, the actual program. I'm loving it.
I haven't seen it yet.
No.
I'm waiting until the 6th one is about to drop, and I'm going to tan all 6 in one go.
Yeah.
No, I don't blame you. So while we're on the Marvel train, Toys Era, this is the Galaxy Warlord that they previewed. I don't have a price or release date as of yet. But for the rest of the world, it's Ronan the Accuser. I'm loving this. If I had a Guardians collection, this would be on the list for sure.
I can't believe Toys Era have done all these Marvel figures and not been pulled up yet. But I mean, they're smashing them out, aren't they? But yeah.
I think the thing is, pulled up and found are 2 different things.
True.
I think that's the issue. It's how. I mean, I remember an instance where when I was over in China. There was an incident where a factory got raided over there. Do you remember Lepin, the fake Lego?
Yes.
Yeah. When I was over there, they got raided, so they were untouchable. Their stuff was everywhere, and they arrested the head of it and destroyed all the molds, and it was all over the news over there when I was over there.
Really? Wow.
And it was just it was so eventually they do cotton on and they do go down these, but it has to be a big presence sort of thing. I did hear of another thing where there was an official figure manufacturer, but there were some knockoffs being made in their factory, and they got raided, and they not only smashed all the knockoffs, but they smashed and destroyed the real license figures that they were doing.
Oh, God.
And as a result, that company had a delay on their figures. So, there's funny stories like that, but that's why I think I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I know Era have got several different names as well. So, they're not just Toys Era.
Spreading themselves
there are
out.
a few
So,
brands.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
don't
a
put your eggs in one
great figures,
basket.
though. They're getting better and better
Yeah.
as well. And this does look great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's fantastic. I really like it. I think the likeness is spot on. I was listening to the CW guys and they were saying about maybe the hammer being die cast, but whenever I see die cast accessories, I just think the wrists go limp after a while. Like I remember when
die-cast.
no, exactly. Like I remember when the first Thor that came out, was it Dark World that had the metal hammer. And after a while, everyone's Thors had these stupidly limp wrists where it couldn't hold the hammer up outright. They were all like, "Oh," they were just a bit.
I shall
So
throw it
like,
to you.
yeah. Oh, you bad boy. So yeah, it was all a bit like that. So I don't mind that it's a plastic hammer. I do think it would have been nice if you probably got maybe another one with the Infinity Stone in it. But again, if you really want that, you could probably get away with just putting one in yourself. It doesn't look that hard to do. The hole's there. Take a trip down the hobby shop and whack one in.
Yeah. Buy a little rhinestone for it.
But yeah,
I'd
I'm
be-
loving
the
single
jazzle.
bag, guys.
Yeah, well, basically, yeah.
It is I, Ronan the Vajazzler. Okay.
I'm really interested to find out what body they're using under that, because what was really interesting, the like when the bullet head Venom came out, which wasn't Toys Era Honest, he had parts of the Colossus body you could feel through the material where the ridges were in the torso. So yeah,
Right, interesting.
Yeah, see what they're reusing. I mean, he's not an odd shape, and from what I remember
tall,
from the
though.
film, that's the
lathering.
thing. That's the thing. Would they just use foot pegs, foot extenders, like ankle extenders? I can't even talk tonight. Ankle extenders to give him the height. But then the arms need to be in proportion. because I find whenever you use those, you end up with some like short-armed little T-Rex man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see. And it looks like it's a head and neck one piece. So every single joint is hidden, so it'd be really hard to tell from here. But yeah, it's not a bad shout. So we now have another bad guy.
Talk about tall bodies. This is massive. This thing.
This is all kinds of drown it at birth. This is the TB Underground King, 147 quid, out in HK in Q4 2021.
51
I get it.
centimeters. 51.
Whoa, really?
That's
My
20
God.
inches in American money. It's fucking 20.
That's just
bigger than
over
Hulk.
half a metre. Yeah, it's
Yes.
eye-watering.
knock off Hulk body, do we think,
And then some.
or
yeah.
a Colossus?
It's bigger than that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
nearly
yeah, I mean
quarter-
extended bits, but
It's nearly quarter scale, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. I mean, it looks like it's jumped out of the video game. But it's
all the
you're
villains
talking
in
quarter
that
scale
game, though.
size. Yeah. But ironically, this is probably one of the easier ones to do
yeah, I guess.
because it's just a case of making a beefier body, and they might have well just padded out a quarter scale body.
It probably
Maybe.
is, It does, as someone sent me a picture saying it looks like a fat Dave Bautista from some angles. And
Oh yeah, I know you said
Can't
that. That's all I
unsee
can
that
see.
Yeah.
No. But I mean, if you popped a Spider-Man next to this, it would just look horrific. It would look weird. He'd come up to probably about cock height.
Yeah.
Just. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Colin says maybe a Juggernaut body.
That's a good shout,
Potentially.
Juggernaut body.
Yeah. I mean, it's got the. Yeah, I think you might be right, because it doesn't. It's not like the arms are close to the body; they're quite far out, so that could potentially be.
Yeah.
And it's not unreasonably priced, £147.
I
Not
thought,
bad.
I thought it was $200.
I like that he's got the little rubber stopper on the end of his. Of his
Oh,
case.
so yeah. Safety first.
Yeah,
Safety
That's
first.
funny.
He doesn't
This
want to
doesn't
slip
like
over in
Kingpin.
Iceland.
He's just picking up his gyro. He doesn't want to slip over.
Yeah.
So Mark says, this doesn't look like Kingpin to me. I'm a 90s cartoon spider guy. White suit would have been better. Potentially, but then we got to remember this is from the game, because the CW guys were talking about this, and it quickly turned into a conversation of, well, if I did this, it could be this Kingpin, or this. It's a specific version of him, so it's not like an amalgamation or that. So you have to bear that in mind. But I
just don't. I don't know where the mass market. This, when you were saying earlier about how do you figure out if something's got mass market appeal?
Yeah.
This is not only Spider-Man fans, but it's a really small cross-section of Spider-Man fans that have played the first section of that game and gone, wow, I really need that Kingpin who I beat in 2 minutes in the training section.
Yeah.
If there was... Look, if I would understand if there was a Scorpion and a Rhino and, and Hot Toys or somebody had done all these big other ones, and then they were like, well, but there ain't Kingpin from that game and this is to fill the void, I would get it, but I just don't understand this on its own. I don't get it.
Colin's come up with a very good point. I like how the shoes are a separate accessory.
Yeah.
Never clock that. Yeah.
They've got 7 panels to fill. So they've got the canes in twice, and then the shoes. Yeah.
It's hands and shoes are the ones that I always find are really weird when they do that on an accessory panel. That's saying I've got a specific template that I don't know how to edit and I need to fill it up. That's mad.
There's one of those coming up, isn't there?
Oh, definitely. But I get what you're saying, Andy, about like if there was loads of other villains from the game, and they wanted to release something, and they went, okay, fine. Kingpin, like you say, you fight him for 5 minutes, then for the rest of the time you even see or hear of him, he's effectively in that top right hand panel. That's how you see him for most of the game. He's a head in a box. So yeah, it's a weird one. It is a weird one, but people will buy it, and you could probably fudge it into other.
I think they're going for the novelty of the scale, novelty of the size, aren't they?
I think so.
It's not an interesting figure in himself, but because it's just so massive, that they figured that people will take it on a novelty value, maybe. But
yeah, take it for someone who bought a quarter scale Vader on a whim. Bigger figures are fun for a bit, but then when you're shunting stuff around, you really. Particularly if you're a snob like me, you don't like mixing scales. Having something that towers above everything else isn't.
It really
isn't
screws
fun.
the whole display.
It really does. It really screws
Juggernaut.
the pooch. Yeah,
I had the Juggernaut, and it's just like, where am I going to keep this? Oh, it's in the box. Right.
Like, what the fuck do I do with this now?
Yeah.
Cool. So we now have, going on to a bit of DC. This is the CyberX Joker for 118 quid. This is at Q4 2021, and you would be forgiven to thinking this is the Hot Toys one, because it probably is a picture of that. Yeah. So, again, shoes as an accessory. I'm liking that. This is a weird one to do, if I'm honest.
I really like that they got the Sylvester Stallone Joker for this.
Yes. Yeah, that was a good spot. I did not see that in the corner.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah.
So they've got another template for Stallone for people who are just wondering what I'm on about. And right in the bottom corner it says Sylvester Stallone 1/6 Joker in Batman. I think that don't Google Joker in Batman. You're gonna get very specialist art. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Be the weirdest erection you've ever had.
And they're saying it's coming with the rolling eyeballs as well, which is for that price point is unusual.
Well, it's probably easier just to recast the lot.
Yeah. The actual Hot Toy now goes for like best part of 300 quid, and there was a time when you couldn't give us away 130.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
When they were
100 quid.
quid.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. They were really one no one wanted.
Couldn't sell it.
No, you couldn't in the slightest. Here we go. The scope looks like if I combined all four of you guys. Thanks for that. I'm not sure if you mean. I'm not sure if you mean this or the kingpin. I'm hoping it's the kingpin.
Kingpin, would make more sense.
It's just me shaved with the glasses on.
Yeah. I don't think any of us is quite this pale to pull off the Joker. So
I'd die a
I
happy
mean,
man if I was Jack Nicholson, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems weird lately that companies have jumped onto the Nicholson Joker because we had the normal version announced not too long ago, and I reckon this lot have just jumped on the bandwagon with that one and gone, well, they're doing that, we'll take the other one.
It's probably the same company, like Andy said. There's all diversified with different names.
Yeah, just
or it might be a matter of it might be order allocation. So it might be there's a factory that has said, oh, we'll make this suit for you, but it's going to cost it's going to be 3,000 units that we've got, and then the first hooky pre-order that went up sold 1,500. So they're like, we'll do a new pre-order, and here's the here's the additional 1,500 and stuff like that. Or there's lots of weird things that go on over there. I think there's going to be a big resurgence with the Batman '89 stuff, though, because I'm expecting Hot Toys to do to reissue Returns Batman when that Flash movie comes out.
Yeah, did you see the little teaser of the 4-seater '89 Batmobile as well?
Yeah,
that's cool.
When he's got kids in back.
Yes.
Yeah, just a car seat.
Yeah,
little baby on board sticker in the little round window at the side.
brilliant.
Yeah. So while we're on Jokers, another one. This I really like because I'm a big fan of the film. This is the SSR clown. He's not Russian. The Madman Returns Q1 2022 for 133 quid. This is spot on. This is, I mean, it's clearly a recast, but it is spot on, and I really like the Dark Knight. So yeah, this is.
Who did this one before?
I think it's a Tony May one.
Okay. And obviously the alternative one with the Batarang in one eye.
So the one with the Batarang in the eye, I've painted one of those for someone before. I cannot remember who did the one with the Batarang in the eye.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is fantastic. What I like about this is the fact that the tailoring looks spot on. They haven't just gone for a standard white suit.
Yeah.
And it looks because obviously it's the wide top, skinny waist, and then tailoring back out again. If it turns up like that.
Yeah, they should have done the burnt out head sculpt as well. That would have been cool.
It's interesting to look at the accessories. It's interesting to look at the accessories because we've got Jack Nicholson's card, gun and stick, and teeth, and then we've got the knife and the money from Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Because actually in the film he doesn't have a great deal of accessories.
No,
there's not.
He's not really in it that much, is he? To be honest, he's only really a quite a sort of cameo near the end. But yeah, it's a good look. It's a cool look for
I'd have loved a broken cup with that. That would have been my, for any Slashes the TV show, or one of the little robot doll things. Or I love the comic. The comic's amazing. And then the animated's good.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be good if a third party did a Batman to go with it.
Yeah,
and had the pair. That would be spot on.
Yeah, because I think I talked on a couple of shows ago. I want to do a really good Dark Knight Returns Batman, but it's there's a lot of expensive custom versions, and it's difficult what head you go with, what suit you go with, what body you go with. Yeah, I think it's crying out for someone to make one, to go with this.
I mean, back in the day, everyone was buying the blue Sideshow Batman just to rip it to bits and take the body out of it because it was the only body at the time that had that kind of proportion. Now, luckily, we've got giant fucking roided out Python bodies which will do just as well. But back in the day, that was all you could get.
Well, I've pre-ordered that huge World Box one that's coming, so I want to try and find a suit that will fit on that.
Yeah, the one ripped to bits the moment.
Be a bit of stretching involved, but yeah.
Motherfucking popping seams.
And a massive gap at the back, duct taped onto the body. So.
Yeah. Yeah, but a cape covers that. You won't see
exactly. You can get away with it. You can get away with
Be
it.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So that was that one. And then we have the DJ Customs X0031/6 scale Revenge Hunter figure. What a fucking mouthful. Out Q3 2022 for 169 quid. Who's asking for this?
He comes with his Oscar. I mean, what do you want? I'm not joking. It's literally there in the middle.
Yeah. Don't you remember when he
like,
turned up dressed in character to receive that?
Well, that's how
He
we
killed
got
the bear with it.
Yeah, exactly. Just fucking twatted him with the Oscar. It's such a strange figure because it's not. To me, it was a good film, but it's not a type of film I go back and I watch or I go, that's instantly an absolute classic.
No. It's quite a sort of long trudge, isn't it? Really, it's not very jolly.
Yeah. He looks, on that right hand picture, he looks too much like a caveman.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, but
I think again, it's one of those ones where there was really expensive high-end customs, and they've gone, you know what? Let's grab that one off the shelf, like we've talked about,
Yeah.
And there were some really good ones of that, and I guess it was quite, if people were buying it in small volumes, it's a niche thing. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's not something that's of interest to myself or sort of general collectors, I think.
I mean, I like to see things that are different, but this is just a bit too different for me.
So what's the accessory that looks like a little lamb skin with something sticking out of it?
It's the bottom of his Swiffer mop.
It's the cleaning accessory. Yeah.
What is it?
He sticks that stick in it there, and he mops up the blood from when he's been mauled. Yeah. It's just such a weird figure. Such a weird figure.
Pelts.
Colin thinks it's pelts. Yeah.
I
mean,
Shout.
yeah.
It's better than
It
me
is
being
what-
silly.
I don't know. I'd much prefer to have the
Yeah.
mop. But yeah, so that was that one. I think it's fair to say we won't be ordering that one. And then we have now this I am tempted by, and I didn't think I would be because I'm always very much like I'm not that into TV show based figures, but this looks good. This is the Flashback Dexter Morgan, April 2022 for 190 quid. This is probably the best Dexter I've seen, like hands down.
Mm-hmm.
The head on the left, I've held in hand, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Because obviously, yet again, when we were over there and blah blah blah, similar people had worked on it and stuff, and the head on the left, I haven't seen the other one in hand. I know who's doing the tailoring, so I know the tailoring will be really really nice in hand, and it's fully licensed and yet again, it's another one of those where I think it's been taken as a license because people care about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's fans of the program rather than.
And we've got a new series coming soon at some point, haven't we?
You get a lot of stuff with it as well, don't you? In terms of accessories.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you get a fair bit, and for the price point, it's really good.
You've only got to chuck another body in, and you've got two figures, haven't you? So.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And the good thing about
that
Dexter is
the knife roll's nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, and the thing I was just going to say, the thing is with Dexter was he's not a strange body shape, so you can quite easily pick up another body and it'd be fine.
Yep.
So
just a not narrow shoulder body.
Yeah.
I think they threw up some in-hand pictures as well today.
Oh, I didn't see them.
If you go on their Facebook,
okay.
I think there are a couple of new. Just literally, they've took a picture of it in hand and gone, yes, here it is, sort of thing. So
cool.
Yeah, I think it looks really good.
Yeah, I'm liking it. The accessories look really good.
You've got little blood slides and
You know what? I've never watched the show, but
have you not?
People always rave about it.
Yeah, it went off the rails a bit, and I think that's part of the reason why they've come back to do another series. To kind of it wasn't finished off very well.
Right.
I
got you.
think.
I got 3 series in.
I see the 4th series. I think is the pinnacle with John Lithgow. That's great. That series.
No, I
think
must have
it's
got
4.
4 in then. 4, because John
Yeah.
Lithgow was definitely in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
He's the
Lithgow's
Trinity
been
killer, isn't he?
announced as being back for the new season as well.
Is he
hasn't
really? Oh wow. Okay.
I'll have to give it a go.
So maybe in his head or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, but it was really brilliant. I think it was only really the last season that I think was not as strong, but yeah, it's a great show.
Yeah, definitely one to watch out for. And then we had Sideshow the Dude that they showed. So this isn't up for pre-order yet, so there's no release date or anything.
No, it's the only picture I've got. Yeah.
I can tell you now that this is going to be the same body that is on Obi-Wan, because I recognise the weird rounded neck that pushes everything way too high up. Generally,
It's gonna
I
have
think
it's gonna have the funny fangs on the middle of the torso.
yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I think this look, barring the neck, which to be fair is an easy fix. It's 5 minutes with a Stanley knife.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good. I'd get this because a dude is a figure that's different enough that I would get. I like the film, but I just never felt like spending the absolute insane amount that some of the customs go for.
I like the head sculpt. Looks good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just sideshow though, isn't it? And they're just going to cock up the
Yeah.
paint up as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, the price point they normally come in at. Normally, I don't mind repainting something or fucking about with it, but they're punching the high numbers Sideshow, and I tend to think, well, if I'm spending that much, I'd like a fairly decent paint job. Like if it was a 5-6 year old figure, fine, I get spending that much because you can't get it anymore, and if I'm going to do something to it, I might as well do something to it. But if it's a brand spanking new figure that's just been released, I shouldn't have to take it with my
and
paintbrush.
the same with the neck as well. And a lot of people wouldn't even dream of taking a paintbrush or a knife or anything to a figure of that. We're not so bad because we've done a lot of it and we've fucked some things up and we've learnt lessons and we don't mind. And I need to do it on my Obi-Wan because he has got a bit of a giraffe neck going on. But it needs to look right out the box for those people that don't want to piss about.
I'll tell you, Colin is killing it with the comments.
He is, isn't he?
Like,
Yeah.
I am loving these.
He's working hard tonight. Yeah.
He is, yeah. I like that. But yeah, it'd be good if they filled in with a few other characters as well. Like if it's just a one-off, that's it. You're getting the dude, and
No, you've
that's
got
it.
to have what's his name? John.
I know the
Goodman.
I can't remember his name.
John
Goodman. That's
Goodman,
it.
in his army,
Yeah.
like in the army gear, in the sort of camo stuff. That'd be great.
Yeah, or maybe Steve Buscemi. If they can't do that, then maybe just his ashes would be fine. Like,
All over you just sprinkle it over their faces.
yeah. Second scopes that are just ashen faced with Steve Buscemi would be good.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
it's the only figure
But
you
yeah.
can get away buying it from a smoking household and it smells like fags when you open it out of the box.
Yeah. In the factory, they've just got a guy at the end.
Yeah,
who's just
authentic.
breathing.
Authentic tobacco smell.
Yeah. I hear for this Sideshow have made their own sand base that they're going to include with it as well. Jeff snuck the patterns out of the Hot Toys factory and go on, they're yours. Sand bases for everyone.
Do you know what? I might have to start putting the I hate sand meme from Anakin in any video that I ever do that includes the sand base in it.
Yeah,
I think that would be wonderful.
Yeah. It gets everywhere.
That would be good. I like that. Yeah. I like that a lot. What you want to do is get down from backdrops and bases just to make you up a little slip cover that just goes on the front of every sand base. Going, I hate sand. Just on everyone would be good. Cool. So that was the dude, and now we have this
here we
one.
go.
Oh, my eyes.
Right. Let's settle in for this fucker, shall we? This is CyberX Studios taking the piss with Adonis Creed for £118 out Q4 2021.
If there was ever a use for that GIF from Beetlejuice with the shrunken head guy, this is the one you use it for.
I think I've seen that on Facebook a few times. The last few days.
it is just appalling. And it just didn't have to be like that.
£119, so it doesn't come in my house.
Yeah,
I just have the money to keep it away.
yeah. It's just so bad. I mean, all right. So if we're going to be fair about it, the accessories and the clothing, and even the head sculpt, albeit, is it a bit too small, or is it the fact that that's like the biggest fucking Schwarzenegger body they had that they've spray painted? If they did it as an accessory pack, I'd probably be fine with it. But the fact they've shoved it on those fucking huge bodies is just mental. They remind me of, what's that? Do you know that board game you used to play with the 2 joysticks and you had the 2 robot boxers?
Oh yeah.
It's like they've sprayed up a pair of those fuckers and just put the head on it. It's just fucking. It's awful.
Just like one of the sort of one of the 20 quid figures you see in like Smiths or whatever.
Mark's just said it. Yeah, Marvel.
That
Legends
is
figure.
that. Yeah. No, you pointed it out, Mark. 100% from far away. It looks like a Marvel Legends. Yeah. Yeah, it really does.
Just from proportions here, where his elbow is to where his fist's meant to be in that boxing glove is hilarious.
Yeah. It's
How long are that man's forearms?
It's just all kinds of...
And also, there's no way that head sculpt on the left there, the big one, is anything like the one that's actually on the figure.
No.
I mean, he looks like a
It's
cake.
like a different...
That looks like a Photoshop of the actual actor.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I actually think the head sculpt on the side at the left is possibly a doctored version of either the Piz or the Max Nut or whichever it was, Killmonger, with the floppy hair removed.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
It's definitely not the same as the ones on the figure.
Which is dreadful, and that's why it's so tiny, so you can't really see what it looks like.
It's just not good. There's nothing good to say about this.
So it is laughable.
Like I said, if they bought it as an accessory set, find your own body, I'd probably be a lot kinder to it. But it's just like you say, he's got weird forearms. It's just shit. Let's not beat around the bush. It's just fucking horse shit. What?
It also says Stallone in the bottom corner again.
Again, yep. It's alright, because they're going to get it right.
That's why I looked at the screen. I just held it up to my eyes. I'm like, so whoever got my forehead in the camera, I'm sorry, but I just needed to... Oh, it's Stallone again. It is.
They're all
not me going mad.
They're all good for the next 2, though. Because this
reckon
company is killing it.
Do you reckon
There's Joker on the next one.
Do you reckon
Joker
one
this
job?
time? All the way around.
Yeah.
Well, do you reckon it's a hint at the body? They've just used the Stallone body for everything, no matter what it is.
What,
she
on
gets
this
beefed up Joker. Yeah.
Yeah. Black Stallone.
I mean, for anyone that gives a shit about this as well, this is the Rocky Balboa by the same company, CyberX, 118 quid at Q4 2021, and we even have the bowling version of Rocky in the little-known film Rocky Goes Bowling. For there's on the left.
That's when that was his cameo in Big Lebowski.
Yeah, we've got on the left we've got Rocky's late life crisis where he tries to blend in with the youth, and on the right we have the bowling Rocky, where he's given up on life completely and taken up bowling for a hobby.
He actually looks like Harrison Ford does in that recent Indiana Jones shot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shoes as an accessory again, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably the best thing about it.
Yep. He's got his weird little pork pie hat that looks like a condom, that hasn't been quite rolled all the way down. I mean, honestly, when they did the promo for this and they brought it along and said, this is what we're going to do, why did no one just go,
how about new?
it's
Yeah. I hope that mime Joker has that Adonis body.
Yeah. And is this a fetal scan here? That's a
Yeah.
I don't know.
That is a bizarre accessory.
Would you not remember that part of the Rocky Goes Bowling movie, where the whole point of the tournament was to win an unborn child? That
fits in perfectly then.
Yeah, Adrian,
Oh dear.
I need the
Oh
baby.
dear. To die.
It just, just fucking horrendous. And don't worry, because it doesn't
gets
stop
worse.
there, because CyberX have given us this, which is the Rambo figure, 118 quid for those
God.
that are a glutton for punishment.
That's
Actually,
got to the right. It's hilarious.
2021. This is from the little known. This is from the little known Rambo film, Rambo 27 Hard Stall, where Rambo is trying to squeeze out the biggest, hardest turd he's ever had in his life. Which explains the grimacing sculpt, the walkie-talkie he uses to call for help, the shotgun that he pebble dashed the toilet with, and the landmine to destroy the evidence. Fucking
Ian's on fire tonight.
I know, right? Oh my god, I'm dying. I just.
We need to do a show where we line up every bad figure that's ever been done and just let Ian rip.
It's just so fucking bad. I mean, what the fuck is what are those marks above his eyebrows on what I'm going to say is the normal sculpt? There is no normal sculpt here, okay? Normal sculpt, which is there on the left.
This
He's
is
got
like
these
Marv
weird
from Sin
lines.
City.
It's just, it's so bad. You know, we've got this sex offender version of Rambo here in the panel there.
Yeah.
I didn't touch her. It's just not right.
And what's the weird little kneeling man logo that is also on the base?
That's
What
the
is
company begging for forgiveness. It's just... it's so fucking bad. So fucking bad. And don't get me wrong, like I like figures. I'm normally quite a cheerful guy. But this has fucked me off something like... No.
God.
And this is meant to be from Last Blood. But it isn't. It's from Rambo Goes to the Garden Centre. It's just...
Oh, my jaw is hurting now.
Yeah. everyone's gonna buy it now because of
Yeah.
But
They fucking better
Please, if you own this, please put photos in the comments for this video, like links to them, and just like in that kneeling pose or anything. Just please, I need to see it. I quite enjoyed Rambo Last Blood. I'd really like a figure, and I remember when this dropped, and I turned the phone, you know, because obviously Jo looks at all the figures we buy and stuff because she likes them as well. And I remember turning the figure, she was just going, "What the hell is that?" And I don't even think we were somewhere appropriate. I think we were like, you know, like in the cinema or something like that, waiting for the next movie. And she,
It's like... So, in all seriousness, if I had this figure, I'd have it displayed like that in the middle with a couple of Tesco bags just hanging from its
that's what I
hands,
was thinking,
and get Dean just to print me up a nice Tesco background, and that's him leaving Tesco at the weekend, pissed off with life, everything's gone wrong, and he's just going to pop his shopping in the back of his car, drive home for the weekend, and just hang himself because life's that shit. It's just bad. But anyway, that's enough about CyberX and their fucking shit figures.
Actually crying now.
I'm definitely seeing some Clooney in that gritted teeth sculpt now.
Yeah, definitely.
see, I'm getting Robert Zadar. If you don't know who he is,
Who's
Google him.
he?
He's the guy with the really big chin. You've seen him in
I
like
know
loads
you mean.
of. Like,
Yeah. Tango and Cash.
Yeah. It looks cartoony. It looks almost cartoony.
Yeah.
It's just, fuck that for a laugh. But anyway, now we've got an actual decent figure. So this is Master Team Hitman. It's obviously Hitman. He's not going to the shops.
Oh, there
He's
he is.
not.
Oh, yeah.
That's the yeah. That's it. That is it.
sorry.
That
Perfect, though.
is.
They've really nailed it.
Yeah, that is perfect. It was almost like Mask.
Oh yeah.
The Rocket Mask guy. But anyway, enough about CyberX and their bullshit. We've now got Hitman, 1/6 scale figure. I am really liking this. I don't have a bad thing to say about this. and I am tempted. We don't have a price or release date yet because it was only just shown. Bad. This morning, when it dropped.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
these look like game renders. I mean, actually, they printed the figure, from a game. Andy, you were saying, weren't you? But they just looked fantastic.
Yeah, it looks spot on.
It does look. It does look really good. It's such a shame that things like this aren't licensed because there's talent that's gone into that, and I'm just like, pay the licensing fee, and go around that process, because that could be it. Come on, if that hit Sideshow and several other places tomorrow, people would be all over it.
Yeah,
100%.
But you've got to be really you've got to be in the community and know about knockoffs and know about third party and all that to even find it. And the problem is that means that it's going to be a low run, and then it's going to come out it's going to come out later, and then people are going to pay silly money for it because they can't get it on aftermarket.
Yeah, definitely.
And the cycle continues.
It's a shame.
I think I'd miss half these figures if Steve doesn't. He's not very good, Steve, at not dropping all into the chat. But a lot of them
I'm always all over the groups.
They pass me by because, as you say, they don't get.
He's fucking pre-ordering half of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
not them Rambo figures though.
No.
And you love Stallone. I mean, they're.
I do. I couldn't own one of them.
No.
They weren't Stallone figures.
They weren't. No.
They weren't. They were his slower brother, below.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about shitty CyberX and their Rocky goes to the cinema. Now, this Turbo Man.
Yeah.
So this is the Funko Turbo Man. It's about 30 quid, and it's when's it out? End of the year, is it? Christmas time.
It's already on. People are buying them in, I think, Walmart. Is it?
Walmart and stuff in the US.
It is Walmart. Yeah, people are already buying them and selling them for $200 on eBay.
Oh, jeez.
But
I just want to be able to get one through a normal distributor because this for me isn't going to be a figure I'm going to display all year round. This is going to go in the box of the Christmas decorations, and when I put all the Christmas decorations up, I'm going to put it under the tree. That's exactly what this is going to be every year.
Hoping Zavi get it as an exclusive. It's the kind of thing they would get, but we'll see. You can get it from Pop Culture in Australia, but you're going to pay import tax on it.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping a UK retailer gets it.
I love stuff like this.
Yeah, it's my favourite Christmas movie though, by a country mile.
Nah, Die Hard's mine. But yeah, I see what you mean. It's good, and I like the idea of just plugging it under your Christmas tree.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I want to do. Every year, it just comes out.
Yeah.
Maybe some half-wrapped wrapping paper around it under the Christmas tree.
See, I get stuff like this, and I get using that as a Christmas decoration. What I don't get are like the Grinch figures people have and stuff like that. Like I get there's so much work that's gone into it, but that in a display case only looks good in December.
Yeah.
The rest of the year, you're kind of like, and it's a bit too much to spend just to have something that I get out once a year. But this I would imagine would be, if you're not paying the aftermarket 200 quid, would be quite a reasonable thing to do that with.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd kind of kill to make a Krampus. I'd love to do that licensed.
Oh yeah, that'd be huge.
Nasty Krampus with accessories. But then it's the same issue.
Yeah, but then I suppose you don't have it as much with that because it being more horror based. It would kind of blend in a bit more. The Grinch is so iconically Christmas that you kind of go, it's fucking June, mate, what you doing, kind of thing. But yeah, and then Pete Stutley's in the
there's a couple
Iconiq
I've stuck in.
Studios.
Yeah.
So we all know my stance on ET. I'm not a big fan of ET.
No.
But I think this is good. This is good.
Yeah, this is 1/10 scale as far as I'm aware. I'd be tempted to pick it up. I was really interested in one of those custom 1/6 runs until I saw the price, which was $2,500. So instantly I was out. Although it's sold out within minutes apparently.
No, it's crazy.
I don't really know where some of these collectors get their money from. It's insane what they'll spend.
Yeah.
I don't have a price or anything on this, but I like the fact that it lights up, and I've always wanted. I will get onto like something that Steve's done for himself, but I've always wanted to represent ET because for me it's one of the iconic 80s movies. I was 7 when it came out, and I remember it being the very first pirate video that I watched, and it was like really big news, and it was circulating around like workplaces. I think Dad got it from someone at work, and I've always loved the film. It's you know, it pulls on the heartstrings, and it's great. It's just a great movie.
Yeah.
So I'd be tempted to get. I've got no idea what sort of price this is going to be.
I like the way he's popping a wheelie over some shrubbery.
Yeah. But it looks really nice. Yeah, so
It's a good effect when it's lit up.
Yeah. So I'll be looking out for
But when you can't see half of it, and it's just the moon.
Yeah.
Is that
No, I think
moon
it's-
really 1/10 scale? It looks a lot.
You have to. Yeah, they're played with perspective a little bit here.
I know. I'm only joking, but
yeah,
no,
and
I think it's a great idea.
And I also used to have. I had a Rally Burner BMX, and it had this same colour scheme.
Showing your age there, Pete.
I didn't have the basket. I'm old. I've made no secret of. I've passed my mid-40s now.
Who puts a basket on the BMX, really?
I
though?
know, it's funny, and it's like got a full-on like permanent sort of. I don't know. Did he deliver papers or something?
Must have done.
So,
Paperboy, that was a game.
Oh yeah, it was. I even remember playing that in the arcades with the actual
Yeah.
handlebars. Yeah.
so
And
the
then
next
another
one
statue.
I can get behind. This is
I want this so bad.
Yeah, the 120th scale Dungeons and Dragons Tiamat, is that how you say it?
Tiamat the dragon.
Tiamat, £1,000 out June to September
Yeah,
2022.
yeah.
This is cool. I do.
It's
I used to
about-
like
think-
Dungeons and
I think
Dragons.
it's about 20. It's about 2 foot tall, 2.5 foot tall. I've always loved Dungeons and Dragons. Again, I forget. I think it was around about 83, 84. So perfect age for me. I was 8, 9. I absolutely loved it. I used to lap this up, and they never made. They made figures of. They made Dungeons and Dragons figures back in the day, but they never actually made these characters from the TV show. And this I love. I mean, I absolutely love it. But £1,000, probably not. But it's good to see
Impressive.
that you know there's finally something from that TV show, and maybe you know it might open up some more opportunities.
Paint
to make those
application
figures.
looks really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like it looks like
They've
it's jumped
really
off the
nailed
screen.
the animated look to it. Absolutely. You know, it's bold colours. There's, you know, it's not over detailed, but it's not, you know, like flat.
Yeah.
That looks like, you know, your kids painted it.
Yeah, it looks really good. I do like that.
But
do like
God
that.
knows what the shipping on that would be. It's got to weigh a ton. And they talk about the CW. You know, you buy something for £1,000, and then the shipping is £500. And you think, really? You know, how do they justify that? But I would be tempted, but I think unless I come into some kind of windfall, then I won't be getting it. But yeah.
She starts
Very
telling
cool.
tricks down the docks again. You ain't getting one, are you?
No, I know. Well, I'm getting old again, so you know I'm not as sellable as I might have been before.
Yeah, His knees are shot. He's useless.
Yeah, losing my appeal.
Yeah. So these next ones, I'm so glad Pete added these because I hadn't
Yeah, I
actually seen the
just stumbled
the
across
pictures of the
these
statues.
a couple of hours before the show.
Yeah, the Sideshow Hammer Horror, Dracula, and Van Helsing.
And these are
these are the
premium
premium
format,
formats.
so about a quarter scale. Yeah,
So good.
yeah,
So
yeah,
good.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not a statue man, but
No,
yeah,
no.
a pair of these would be.
I really like the expression on Van Helsing's face, even though it's just a very basic head sculpt.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
the little character in the eyebrows really, you know, it's a nice touch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and these
really
are
sells
iconic. And again, you know, these are Hammer, you know, from the 70s. And I used to watch a lot of these, probably younger than I should have done. And they're just, to me, they're the best representations of those. I mean, Van Helsing is Peter Cushing. You know, he's brilliant in that, and I just love the fact that a bit like with the Patrick Bateman. You know, most of the time his hair's all nicely slicked back, but when he got going with his hair was flying around everywhere, and these look really nice. Yeah.
They do look awesome. They do look good. I'm finding there's a lot more statue stuff I'm starting to look at, thinking, yeah, quite like that.
Yeah, and the mixed media stuff appeals a lot more to me. like the real
Yeah.
clothing and stuff as well.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the prices we're paying for Hot Toys and stuff now, it's starting to get to the point where you go, actually, whereas, for the price of a statue, you'd be looking at 4 or 5 Hot Toys when I first started collecting. Now it's like 2, and you kind of go, actually, it's not that bad.
No.
So it's tempting. It's just space. Because I quite like changing things up quite a bit, and I haven't got the bollocks to be shipping statues and them turning up broken.
No, that is the
just-
problem. I think if you buy, if you go for a statue, you've got to keep it, haven't you?
Well, literally, a friend of mine sold 2 statues recently, and he packs so much. He makes sure it's all done, and he insures everything he sends. And literally, the 2 things he shipped both turned up broken. Fingers and stuff missing, and he'd wrapped the hands and made sure everything was on there. He'd put extra packaging within the original box, and Posty just broke it. Threw it about a bit.
I think if they drop from any sort of height, they're done for, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, even I've got the premium format Indie, and I snapped a couple of his fingers off because I just wasn't used to. I was used to figures with the hands being a bit of give. And I think I was just putting his whip in or taking it out, and I was like, oh, just snapped his fingers off. And lucky I was able to glue it and hide the line, but that was a kind of a bit of a harsh lesson in that it's definitely a different beast to the 1/6 scale figures.
I've got the PS Silver Surfer, and it's just so easy to damage that thing. I think I've got one of the hands that are damaged, and also because of the magnetic arms that you fit in, I think one of the shoulders are just chipped ever such a little bit because the magnets are so strong they just pull together. So I'm with you.
When you put 4 fragile stickers on the box, the courier makes sure they drop it a couple of more times than usual.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you're bang on with that one, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So we've got a couple of predictions next, haven't we?
Yeah.
Of what we think the Toy Fair exclusives are going to be. So we have a sneak, and this is Steve who's disappeared. His camera's gone. Steve sent these over.
So we had a list to start with, and then we had some pictures that people were putting up.
Yeah, so a Padme would be awesome. The Armourer would also be equally as awesome. They're the 2 I like. Cyborg and the Iron Man, not so much. I get, but I'm
Everyone
genuinely
wants
surprised.
a Dark Cosmot one, don't they?
I'm surprised we haven't had one.
That's going to weigh some.
Just a bit.
I want Cyborg. Like I still have all my Justice League. Big comic guy. So any opportunity to get something that in 1/6 isn't the same characters again and again and again repackaged we're probably only going to see one Cyborg, and to be able to fill out my Justice League with that would be great. I really look forward to the Mark 1. I've got a Mark 1, but I don't need a new one.
They need to do Cyborg. I mean, he had a much more expanded role in the Snyder Cut.
Oh, it was night and day, wasn't it?
Yeah,
definitely. It was so much better
and to ignore that figure. I get that it's a complex figure and everything, but Hot Toys have done stuff like that before. They can do it.
And it wasn't a bad selling line. Like they made their money out of it.
Yeah.
I heard differently. Differently when that came out.
Okay.
So what I heard is that there's actually not many of the the blue and red Justice League Supermen, and the reason, and that's why you don't see them very often on the market. And the reason I heard that kept getting pushed back was because when you've got several production runs on, you obviously you've got to set up and you've got to get all the material and you're paying the people to do it. Are you going to have them make 10,000 Captain Americas, or are you going to have them stop and make 3,000 Supermen?
That's a good point.
4,000 Supermen or 5,000. So that's why you'll see certain characters get rushed out a lot quicker. It's because the production numbers are really quite high, so they can make quite a few. Right. And with so like I said, the Justice League Superman, apparently that wasn't ordered in a massive amount. Because if you remember as well, it didn't drop till well after the film had come out. Because DC
really
didn't want to spoil that Superman was coming back, which we all knew before we walked in. And I also suspect that's why the black Superman is in the double pack with Nightmare because they're not confident that it'll sell on its own, and to keep the production run, they've gate kept it behind.
Because there's definitely a demand there for it, because that Transcendent sold out pretty much straight away. But I think that was probably more because it was affordable than anything else. It was an easy way to pick up a Superman, stick in your collection. But yeah, these I'd definitely go for a Padme. Definitely go for the Armourer. I've been after an Armourer for a while.
Mark's quite upset that he hasn't had a Padme yet. Padme in 3 movies, obviously the reason Anakin turned, mother of Luke and Leia, and I can't get one effing figure.
I think you're okay to say fucking.
Yeah, I know, but I like to try and be the classier side of the show.
Yeah, I just drag us back down. I'm not having any of that.
Really,
Get back down. Here he is.
I'm really hoping that mention of a game Batman is Arkham Origins Batman. Either suit I'd be really happy with, but
yeah, the more Arkham stuff, the better.
I was always really disappointed with the fact that the Arkham Knight one they did, because in the game he wears like a thick canvas material, but in all the promotional artwork it was like reflective, and they made the figure from the promotional artwork rather than what was actually in the game. The thing with the Arkham Origins, it's that big thick Kevlar type armor pads over canvas parts, and I think that'll just make such a good figure for posing. As long as we don't get that whole printed plastic over material, I think that'll be amazing.
Yeah.
So if that happens, that'd be great. I'm all up for that. And the Miles Morales one, if it's the Uptown Pride suit, that's the one with the gold stripes from the game that you unlock.
See, I haven't played Morales yet, the Miles game.
You've seen the cover. You've seen the cover of the game. Mm-hmm. All the red bits are gold. That's it. That's the difference in that suit. So it's basically a good. If they're already doing that suit, which they are, it's a really easy repaint, isn't it? So that makes sense as a toy fair.
More Mando figures for Toy Fair, of course. Hot Toys are balls deep in it. I would be surprised if a Lady Frog figure. Do you know? Honestly, I think if they bought a Lady Frog figure, people would buy it.
It would sell.
Yeah.
Nobody needs a Neon Tech Mark 50, really. Who bought the other ones? I mean, it's crazy.
I don't get the Neon Tech. They're obviously popular in Hong Kong.
I was really tempted with the first one because I'm a massive fan of Tron, and I have the Hot Toys Tron figure, the Sam Flynn with the bike. Yeah. And I was like, that's really kind of cool. It's a bit in-jokey and referencey. I'd love it. And at the time, it was really hard to get hold of and really expensive. So I thought, well, I'm not bothered with that. And so, because I've not got the first one, I'm not going to go and buy the rest of the line.
No.
So, I'm the person you could sell that to. And they managed to exclude me from the market.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Right, so I think it's that time of the show where we thank our illustrious sponsor, Mr. Watto, and play a little advert. So we'll be back in a second.
Yeah.
Only Fools and Collecting is brought to you by Watto's Scrapyard. They 3D print parts for your hard-to-come-by Kenner vehicles. They 3D print 1/12 and 1/6 scale head sculpts from a massive back catalogue. If there is a particular character you want, he can design and 3D print it for you for a reasonable price. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram.
There you go. So as per usual, check him out. He will do you any head sculpt you want. His animated stuff is fantastic. Like, I want literally every Star Wars animated character you could possibly do, and I will have it because they're fantastic. So yeah, hit him up. He's a good guy. Do it. Do it now.
Steve's had to leave us. He's having some internet problems, but he was going to go before the Loki section anyway. So we shall we'll see Steve next time.
Yeah, he uses his bandwidth on Grindr. So, obviously, there was only one film we really wanted to watch this week, for obvious reasons, and it is on Netflix, which is brilliant. So I sat down Tuesday night, was it Tuesday or Wednesday, and watched it.
Yeah, same, because you messaged and said it was on, and I was like, do you know what, I'm going to watch that as well now for the show as well. So I really enjoyed it. Yeah,
I'd genuinely forgotten how good it was. It was one of those films that I've seen it before, and I've seen it a few times. knew I liked it, knew it was a good
Yeah.
film, but just hadn't seen it in ages, and there was so much of it. I was like, this is brilliant. His obsession with cards, like business cards, is just. It's a clip I've seen hundreds of times, but it's just so good, so good.
Yeah, it's a really funny. It's a really dark comedy. I think it's a very dark film with some very dark subject matter, but I find it quite funny. There's some funny bits in there, and he plays it really well.
He does. He
plays that character.
He plays it so well, so well, and it's just the way, like, before he's about to do someone, he's going on about CDs and music, and he's all reanimated and quite happy, and then he's just
giving
like,
them
bam, straight.
Giving them all the stats on when it was released and all this kind of stuff.
It's almost like he's reading. It's like he's reading it off of a script and trying to rush it to get to the end so he can do them in.
Yeah.
Like, I got that impression where he's like, okay, I need to say this to look normal, and I'm just going to rush through it as quickly as I can, and then get straight onto my killing.
Yeah, yeah. And I think
it's
quite
fantastic.
refreshingly, it's quite a short film. It's only about an hour and 35 minutes, I think. It's quite refreshing to have a film that just doesn't go on for hours and hours and hours when it doesn't really need to.
Yes, Mark says watching him sweat when guys are pulling out business cards is magic.
Yeah.
Then the bathroom scene after, yeah, that bit was funny. I mean,
it goes without saying, Andy, that you must be a big fan of the film.
We are, like, as I say, it's a cumulative thing. I'll tell you what, there's only one more person more obsessed than Patrick Bateman with business cards, and that's Hugo, one of our artists. He has all these really weird high-def 4K renders of the business card, and he's like, yeah, so the business card's slightly off-centre, and there's a piece of red down the side. Now, I don't know if that's intentional because it's meant to hint at blood, or if it's alternatively that they just cut it out badly and there were the red lines for the cuts when they were making it. And it's like, I watched the film. You went like pixel perfect with all this stuff, and it was just really cool to watch. To watch different people obsess over different things. I mean, obviously for me, it's the music and the sort of the animated over the topness of it, like the obvious two duality sort of phases with it. I was talking to Dean Knight before we went live with American Psycho, because I let him have some of the photos beforehand so he could get his video put together. And he was talking about when he was in the cinema, when he watched this, he was like, that guy would make an amazing Batman. At that point, he was excited about that idea of seeing it and stuff like that. And I'm like, I can see why the whole duality thing is very much there. And it, and it has a definite look and aesthetic. I mean, like, everything's like really clean, and like there's just, I don't know, there's just something about it that's very much a product of its time that if you remake it, you're not going to see. I mean, like, has anybody seen the sequel?
No, I heard you saying how bad it was.
No.
I highly recommend you Google American Psycho 2 and Patrick Bateman in it and just watch it. I'm sure I sent you the link. Yeah,
you sent me the link. I watched it, and I was like, okay, won't be watching that film. that's that packed away in the do not watch pile.
I guess it doesn't feature any of the
fan.
same actors from the first one.
No, I don't think so.
No.
No, it's. I think it's very much, looking at the clip I saw, it's very much a sequel of its time. Where this first one did really well. Let's get completely different people to make a sequel and ruin it. Is effectively the impression I got from the clip. It wasn't good at all. But do you think in this one he actually killed Leto's character or not?
My interpretation.
Yeah. Or do you think he's... Because he's definitely killed people.
Yeah.
You see, I read an interview, because obviously you do a lot of research, and I read an interview with the director, and I believe it's a she, and I think she said that it was it wasn't her intention to make it so vague that he did or that he didn't. It was her intention to make it that it was more about his obsession. you know, with people knowing it's him that creates everything.
Yeah.
And for me, so I get that that's what the director wanted and what the story wanted, but I kind of like the sick and twisted version of none of it's happened.
Yeah.
And he's just mad, and this is his power trip fantasy escape.
Yeah.
I think that as the ending's far more for me, and I get it's an interpretation thing. I mean, there's certain endings with films I don't like I really don't like Inception, with the whole where he spins the thing and then it ends, and you're like, is it or isn't it? Because the problem with that film is, for me, if it isn't and it's just all in Leonardo DiCaprio's head, then I've kind of wasted my time.
Yeah.
But whereas with American Psycho, with the whole is it in his head, actually the journey of him being that mentally ill is worth the reveal, if that makes any sense.
The best Batman killed the worst Joker. Bale kills Leto. Well,
That's Joaquin Phoenix wasn't in that film, Ryan. I don't remember him at all in any of my research.
Because the more I think about it, the more I kind of think, is it in his head? I'm leaning towards most of it probably was, because if I think about when he drops the chainsaw on the woman, and then he's dragging a bloody bag through reception with the clear trail of blood.
With a trail of blood,
he's dumping a body in a boot. It's clearly a body. Like, anyone with eyes can see there's a body in there.
Someone asked him where he got that nice bag from.
Yeah, it's my duffel bag. It's surely, him running around with a chainsaw, fully got a chainsaw in the middle of the night, someone is going to clock that.
Yeah.
Him dropping it on the woman, someone is going to hear that. Disposing of the body, which he didn't even do quietly or discreetly and whatsoever. He might as well just lumped her over his shoulder and walked out. All those little bits, and then when you start to get to the end and they're on about, he goes to Leto's apartment and nope, he never lived here. There's nothing. It's all that kind of stuff where you think.
And that woman says that she knows what he's done and he should leave. So I think at that point, it's all fantasy. Whether or not he'd actually, did kill some prostitutes or and then it just kind of just triggered something, and it just he just fantasized about.
The turning point's probably that bit with the cat and the ATM machine.
Feed me a cat. Yeah.
So I think he probably did kill the woman and the receptionist when you're into the wrong apartment block, and the police. I think that bit was probably him actually doing that.
Yeah.
But everything else, I think, is probably just his delusion. So it's really good. I really like the film, and it's really interesting because it does. You at the beginning you think this bloke's a fucking nutcase. He's just a straight out fucking killer.
Yeah.
And then as the film goes on and on and on, you kind of go, hang on a sec, because there's a couple bits you go, well, hang on, that can't be right. And then it starts to doubt you. You start to doubt him as he's doubting himself. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
really good.
I've always felt like there's a scene in The Last Action Hero where Charles Dance shoots somebody and he goes, I've shot somebody and I did it on purpose. And the guy's like, shut up down there. I always felt like they made that one scene into a film and it became American Psycho. Yeah, because it's got that sort of very tongue-in-cheek, construction of it.
And if anyone asks him where he was or what he was doing, he's got to return some videotapes. Brilliant.
Yes. Somebody put on one of the comments for the figure, if it's not got videotapes, I'm not buying it. And I just put the comment on, he already returned them.
Yes.
I do like that. Yep, he's always taking them back.
It's definitely a good movie. Yeah, enjoyed it.
100%. Definitely worth a watch. And like I said, it's on Netflix at the moment, so there's no excuse really for people not to be watching it.
No.
Because it is fantastic. Like I say, I'll probably give the second one a miss.
Yeah, I'm not
definitely watch the first.
But I think Bale's great. I was watching it. It was making me want to watch The Big Short again. I really like him in that. That's a good film.
Yeah, Bale's great.
If you want to watch a really weird Bale film that I watched recently, the Cheney movie that he's in is really good.
Is that the one he put on a load of weight, didn't he?
And he's wearing prosthetics as well. But there's a couple of moments in there that are really fourth wall breaking, and you don't expect it, and it's really. I really enjoyed it. It was one of those that I watched on a plane, and it was like, I really enjoyed that. So yeah, recommend, I would recommend if you want to see some more Bale being weird and acting to type, and and doing another character. That's a good example of that.
Cool. I'll look for that.
So man, we'll give it a go. Give it a whirl. And then next up, we got Loki, which is now on its fourth episode.
Yeah, I've not watched the
fourth
one yet. Not watched it yet.
We keep it relatively spoiler free, so we don't because we're not arseholes, let's be honest. Like, I hate it when people spoil stuff. I'm really liking it. It's one of those programs that makes me really hate the old-fashioned model of releasing an episode a week, because I instantly want more. Though I've now learnt my lesson with Marvel TV shows to not gauge how much longer I have left of watching the particular episode by what the bar tells me, because I know I've got 8 minutes of credits that I'm not going to sit through.
Bizarre, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's like Loki for me is a really good bad guy, and I'm loving him even more in this. And I think where you had he died in Endgame. And this is the younger version of Loki that was kited away in Avengers. I think it still works, even though he hasn't had that. I think it was a little bit of a cop out where they kind of here's a video of what your life would have been, and all that character development, just absorb it in and effectively do that in the space of an episode. But I'm liking the idea of variants and seeing lots of different Lokis. I hope we get to see more.
Well, I think they're setting up Spider-Man with that. I think that's look. We're gonna explain how this works in our universe, and now we can do more multiple.
I think it's gonna. I think it's gonna jump into Doctor Strange at some point. I think there's definitely going to impact upon that. And I hadn't thought about the Spider-Man angle. I think that would be a really good way of doing it.
Well, that's how you get Toby and Andrew Maguire and everybody in the same movie, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's a big market at the moment. There's a big appetite for revisiting old films and older versions of characters.
I'm going to be super cynical and say, and this sounds totally, awful to say this, but I think it's within Marvel's interest to get it out before Flash as a concept. Because if Marvel go, here's all the Spider-Men you loved from when you were a kid, here's all in Doctor Strange, here's all the other characters and cameos from every other universe, here's Lou Ferrigno in some green paint, that sort of stuff, and they wheel all that out. Then you go and see the Flash, and Michael Keaton's there. It's like although it's amazing, and I love Batman 89. Batman 89 is what made me a comic fan. So I will go and see it, but it's kind of falls a bit flat when you've just seen a much bigger version of that. And I think they suffered a similar incidence with BVS and Civil War. Regardless of what you think about the quality of the films, and people be on different sides, I think Joe Public, who goes to the cinema, not as nerds that have different favourite superheroes and stuff, kind of went, I'm sure I've seen this before. I've seen the two heroes fighting each other.
It's a shame because they've DC have already kind of pipped them to the post with the CW Flash series and the whole Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline they did, because you had the movie Flash pop up at the end. Although you didn't have Keaton, you did have that universe in there, and you had different characters from different universes all pop up. So they've already tested the waters with it and know there's an appetite there. So I hope they. I'd like to see DC do it first, but I'm pretty sure
Marvel are going to get there with Spider-Man first. I think.
I'm really.
Sorry,
I was gonna say, I'm really enjoying the show. I watch it with my missus, and I'd like to have a pruning stick. There's certainly lots of people I'd like to prune out of existence.
Yeah, those sticks are pretty cool. The effect on that's really good as well, where they just dust. It kind of reminds me of the old Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where it's just gone. So I do like it. I do think it's good.
I don't want to talk about spoilers, but I have a really big theory with that I'll talk to you about later.
It's really hard to talk about this without mentioning spoilers. because I've got an idea about that as well. So Mark says Loki went in a direction I never expected. Better show than it has any reason of being. Yeah, I very much very much was the same. I went in with very low expectations, and I think that's why I'm enjoying it so much, because I didn't think I was going to like it.
Yeah, but the character's great, and Tom Hiddleston's brilliant, and I think he's able to like carry that. That's a big part of the appeal. If he wasn't kind of as fun as he is and a good actor, it wouldn't work so well. But everyone's always enjoyed Loki. He's been in some really funny scenes with the Avengers and stuff, and it's good to see him kind of go have his own show for a bit.
Well, he originally. So I was just saying, he originally went in for Thor, didn't he? You see the tapes of him auditioning as Thor, blonded up. Like, could not imagine him as a Thor.
No.
What for me really stands out is he has chemistry with everybody. So, with the Sylvie character, with Owen Wilson and him, I could just watch them talking for hours. Hanging around.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
He's really good, and he interacts with everybody. He very much carries it, and I don't think it'd be the same show without him. Definitely not.
No.
Because I suppose when you think about it, there's not, per episode, there isn't actually a great deal of action. No. It's not the big set.
No, it's a lot of the one-on-ones and the conversations and the riffing on stuff, and
it's very much conversational, and that's what I quite like about it. But like I said, I think because I didn't expect it to be any good, or that I wasn't going to enjoy it, actually I'm enjoying it way more than I thought, and I am.
Equan wishes you had that printing stick at work today. I think we all do.
Yeah, I think there's see, the only pruning that the other shows talk about are manscaping and shaving their balls. So it's nice that we're
taking people out of all of existence, which is much more interesting.
It's nice that we're touching on something other than balls, which is good.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So that was Loki. If anyone who hasn't watched it, you're obviously living in a cave. It's well worth watching.
Get on it. It's only 6 episodes, so it's not a massive commitment. We're on 4. We've got 4 now, so yeah.
In fact, if you watch all 6 episodes and skip the last 10 minutes, which is all credits, you save yourself like an hour. So happy days. So and then I think you sent this through, didn't you, Pete?
No surprise. We all heard a week or so ago that Harrison Ford had injured his shoulder whilst filming Indiana Jones 5, and it turns out that it's worse than initially expected, and he's going to be out of action for at least 3 months, which is going to push back the production on the film, and I suppose quite possibly push back the release date as well, because these things normally run pretty tight, and obviously there's going to be a heck of a lot of CGI involved with this film, as we're fairly sure, obviously with the dots that we've seen on his face and his body, and also the Nazi things, that there is going to be some de-aging involved. So it's not surprising. It's a bit disappointing, because we were talking about last show, and how excited we were looking forward to it. And it's not quite as bad as breaking your leg as he did on Force Awakens, but and I suppose his body, as I say, it's not the age, it's not the years, it's the mileage. I think it's both for him now at 78. And as fit as he is.
Indiana Jones and the broken hip, like.
Could these just be insurance jobs though? Because I find it very suspicious that he always gets injured on every film. He's like onto Direct Line straight away.
And yet he crashes a plane on a golf course and walks out unscathed.
Exactly, but then this happens, neck brace,
He just turns up and plays the old old and dithery card. He's I don't know where I am. And just falls over. Like he's just stepping out in front of traffic and just throwing himself on a bonnet. Like, oh no, my hip. Oh fucking hell, Harrison's out here again. Fuck me, take him off. That's probably why on Blade Runner they only had him in for a tiny part of the film. They couldn't afford the insurance.
No,
don't have him. Don't have him. And he was, we're not going to have him near vehicles, no steps. Stick him in that ballroom, all the same level, can't fall over. So I think. It's a shame.
He does.
He
does belong in
He belongs in the museum. That's fucking brilliant.
Definitely. Anyway, get well soon, Harrison, and get back.
Yeah.
Get back into.
Yeah, your comfy chair.
Yeah. Get this film done.
Yeah. And then you wanted to talk about this next one, didn't you, Pete? Alien Fireteam.
Yeah. I was just. I was watching.
You're optimistic, in you.
Yeah, it's not been a great track history with Aliens games, and I was literally just watching something on Disney Plus. I have to watch it through. I watched it through my Xbox, and obviously then it comes up with like trailers for stuff. I thought I'll have a look at this, and they had I think they had like the first 25 minutes of gameplay. It looked really good. That's not saying anything because I say the Aliens games have been pretty bad so far.
They've got form, haven't they? Because they pulled a bait and switch.
Yeah,
before.
Yeah. But it's a third person.
It's a different company though from the bait and switch company. Yeah. It's not Gearbox this time.
Yeah,
it's a third person. It's a three team. So obviously a co-op multiplayer, and obviously you just go through killing shitloads of aliens. They've got some kind of new different classes of aliens and bits and pieces, but it looked good. It had the feel. It had this good, the sound effects and everything. But as I say, it's meant to be out in August, which is pretty soon.
Close.
And I'd not seen anything of it. And I think they only released the trailer a week ago. So,
I'm just sick of like co-op games.
Yeah,
they just.
That's because you haven't got any friends.
Well, yeah, I know exactly. I'm a lonely cunt. No one wants to play with me. But I'd really like Evil Dead, and they've announced a new Evil Dead game, and it looked fantastic. And then they went, it's one of these. You're just dropped in the woods with a couple of people, and you're gonna go off and cooperatively kill the other team. And I was like, just give me a single player game where I
don't want to play with
that's all
random weirdies.
Yeah, I don't want to play the knight with the mullet. That's great. I don't want to be Arthur. No one wants to be Arthur. I want to be Ash Williams. I don't want to be anyone else.
See, I'm kind of on the other side. I want to be all the weird characters in the Evil Dead universe, and all
they could be
stupidity. Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to say with this fire team. I mean, it looks very much like a Left 4 Dead clone, very much like the World War Z game that I think Focus were also involved in. I know the studio that's actually making it isn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Focus had something to do with the shaping of it. But I really miss tie-in games that weren't necessarily the best, the high-end, most high-end game.
Yeah. I
really miss some movie tie-in games because we don't get because now they're just mobile phone ports with the money and it's click a button. I think the last good one I played, which I would highly recommend, is one of the most underrated games of all time, and also shaped the part of the MCU as we know it. Captain America Super Soldier on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. If you get a chance to play that, it's basically Wolfenstein meets Batman Arkham, but not as good. And the main thing that happened with that is the combat in that game. Chris Evans actually voices it and was involved in some of it. Yeah. And they shaped some of the combat in Winter Soldier around what appeared in the game.
Oh, okay.
So all those cool moves that you see at the beginning of Winter Soldier, straight from that game. And there's some really cool, like, random references to the comics and stuff. I highly recommend. I just really miss weird weird story extension games that we used to get. And if you remember back to like the NES and Mega Drive. Sorry? Yeah, the PlayStation 1 the NES, the Mega Drive, even some PS2 stuff. I love the PS1 Blade game.
Yep. I love the 89 Batman one on the Commodore Amiga. That's a great game. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that. I used to play, there was a Star Wars one where you were just going left to right on the screen. I think it was like Battle of the Force or something like that. And you just played through the first, I think you just played through Phantom Menace. But it just threw everything at you as you just marched your way through with a lightsaber.
It was called Jedi Power Battles.
That's it. That's the kiddie. Jedi Power Battles.
I've got them all up there, mate.
This man knows his video games.
Yeah, I used to love
And if you completed it and you held select on Qui-Gon Jinn, you could play as Darth Maul with a one-sided lightsaber. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah, I used to love that game.
Not that I've ever played it, obviously.
No. No. Yeah, that used to be good.
Yeah, I know what you
But
mean.
that's it, and
Like you say,
I hope this Aliens has the opportunity to be a bit more fun and you know, and just enjoy a bit of the silliness.
Yeah,
And I do look
yeah.
forward to the thing for me with the co-op thing is me and my son and Joe all play together on the Xbox
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So when we
Yeah.
buy a digital game, we get it twice. So that's me and Joe get a copy, then I buy Zach a copy, and then that's it. We all get to play the stuff, and
Yeah.
so that's really good. So we will enjoy that quite a bit. But I don't know. I just want a bit of fun with it. I will also say just about the Gearbox Aliens. You know, the whole bait and switch thing.
Yeah.
Is this
I
the
honestly
Colonial
think-
Marines one?
The Colonial Marines.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually I got. We went to Eurogamer, the UK Gaming Expo thing, and we got to play their multiplayer before it was out. That multiplayer was nothing like the game that we got released with. It was night and day different. It was so good, and it won Game of the Show that year at Eurogamer. So God knows what they did to it between release
Yeah.
and what we played,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was really good. But yeah,
Well, let's hope this is good. It's perfect for you with a 3-player.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
yeah. So now we're on to probably my favourite part of the show, which is
Shenanigans! Shenanigans! Shenanigans!
so all the weird and wonderful stuff that's gone in on the groups. So one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was how long do you hold out for a better version of a figure? Because I touched on it before with Mando.
Yeah, yeah.
And the fact that, like I said, one of the main comments that I saw a lot of, and lots of people were saying it, was you almost had these smug bastards who were glad I waited. Glad I waited, because now this
Yeah.
one's been announced. I just think, how you will be waiting forever. There's probably some twat who saw the very first Thor figure and went, oh no, I'm going to wait, and they probably still don't have one.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah.
I just think you can constantly be waiting for something better. And when we look at the release schedule for stuff, we're looking at 2 years minimum. If
Yeah.
you're ordering from places like Sideshow, you know that there's going to be a delay, and it's going to be quite an excessive delay on stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the mentality of I'm going to wait
No.
for the next thing.
I
the
think
next thing, the next
I
thing.
think you when you got to look at things like, say, if you're buying stuff from the from old franchises like original trilogy Star Wars, you know that they're probably going to release one version of that figure, and it's good to go. They're not going to release a second. They did it with Luke, but with Jedi Luke with extra stuff. But pretty much that's the figure. Whereas if you are buying from a current franchise like the Marvel stuff, Mandalorian, then you've got to expect that, and we know that these companies will deliberately change little bits of something just to get another figure out of it. Hot toy, not Marvel Hot Toys, or Disney. We know the game, and as you say, you've got to weigh up at what point do you want to say, oh look, there's a space on my shelf there. That's where the Mandalorian's going, but you never actually
Like
get
3
one.
years time.
Yeah, and it's the same with like buying like a TV. Yes, there's always going to be a better TV next year, but if you wait, you're never going to have a TV. You're going to be sitting watching your 20-inch CRT forever. You have to jump on board at some point. This one's particularly raw only because some people, as you say, only just got their season 2, the Beskar armor, and then this is. But they're not going to see it for 2 years. So you either have that empty space, or you enjoy the one you've got. Yeah, it might take a bit of a hit on price, but it's not suddenly going to be worth 50 quid because they bought a new one out.
No.
No.
And I think just going on from that as well, I think one of the big things that's very important is buy things that you have an emotional connection to. And I'm probably talking people out of buying American Psycho now, which is not great, but buy that one regardless. But buy things that you have an emotional connection to. So, like, I was a giddy little girl when it came to Captain America with the scales, because scale mail caps my bag. When that appeared in the film, I'm like, you bet I'm buying that. When they did the strike suit way back in the day, as soon as they did that, I was like, I have to have that because I love that run of Commander Rogers in the comic. Those those things mean a lot to me. So it doesn't matter if there may be another version that's better that comes up in the future. I mean, that's fine. But it doesn't hinder how I feel about the figures that I have, because I have an emotional connection to it. I think the problem is the people who are the keep up with the Joneses figure collectors. That I've bought this because it's worth more than this. Don't be in the game. It's not. It's not Bitcoin. In fact, that's dipping at the moment, isn't it? But it's not. It's not an invest. Toys aren't an investment. Toys are. I think on Toys That Made Us, they said that they're almost like an icon that you project your feelings onto. They're a thing that you want to own a piece of that thing that you really enjoy, and I think that's what it's about. And it comes down to enjoying the hobby, enjoying what you've got. Is it crap that there is a newer version that's nicer? Yeah, but as soon as we saw that Darksaber, and as soon as we took the helmet off, we knew that
it was coming.
That figure was coming.
We knew they'd drop a head sculpt at some point.
Exactly. Now, could that have come with the version 1 with a bashed-in face from the end of season 1, and they just went, oh, by the way, it's got this as well? Absolutely, they could have and should have, but buy things you care about, and then you don't regret it as much. It's as simple as that, because you won't care if the value drops.
Yeah, no. And with this stuff as well, it's not like every 6 months there's a new version and you can have it on your shelf.
No.
The wait times are so long that you're talking, like I say, you're talking 2 years. You can enjoy what you've got for 2 years, then make the decision further down the line, or pre-order it and then cancel it further down if you don't. It just...
And even if you lose £100 on it, that's not bad for 2 years of enjoment.
No, exactly.
Is it? And
I think that because of the price is people pay aftermarket as well. I mean, if you look at Mando, people were selling that for insane amounts with bits missing, and we were looking at 275 a couple of weeks ago. It's not worth £275. No way is it. It was going way above retail, and I've still noticed the last couple of days people are selling theirs, but the price isn't cheap. It's not like it hasn't automatically made it worthless.
Bargain basement, because it's still the best figure available for 2 years, and it's. And I think we found, we talk a lot about how mine and Ian's collections have changed massively. The amount of figures we've had in and gone out, and I think that the longer you're in the hobby, the more you, like you were saying, Andy, that you come to realise that actually it's the figures that have an emotional connection for you that are the ones that stay. I had a load of Marvel, but actually I enjoyed the movies, but I didn't really have any connection with those figures. Whereas original trilogy, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Indy, that's where they're the films that I'll go back to over and over and over again, and they're the ones that I want to keep. So you come to. I think that's part of the learning process of being in this hobby.
Yeah,
you have to learn what you enjoy.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like any time Hot Toys release a Stealth Iron Man, I'm in. It doesn't matter. Yeah. You do that blue Stealth Iron Man, I'm in, because I still remember being in a doctor's surgery as a kid and my dad walking in with a Marvel Summer Special comic and went, read this while you wait, son. And my first experience of reading Iron Man was in wearing the stealth suit. So in my head, in my head canon, Iron Man wears that blue-black armour.
Yeah, and it's an emotional connection to that, like your dad and you as a kid, and that's the stuff that.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah, collect what you love, not what's particularly hot or worth the most. But and then this other one I thought was probably worth talking about. So this has come up a lot on the groups about Regal Robot.
Yeah.
So first, I want to start off with, they make really good stuff. Like, I'm very impressed with a lot of their stuff. What they have been sending out though is having the shit kicked out of it in the post. I don't think it's been packaged particularly well.
No.
So people have spent $3,000 on this Rancor, and they've turned up broken. And a lot of people are reporting that when they got in contact with Regal Robot, they're being told, you can't have a replacement. We haven't got any replacements. We don't do replacements. If you send it back, we've got a guy who will repair it. Now, I can't remember the name of the guy, but apparently he's quite well known in the prop world, and he's worked on original moulds and original props and repaired them. And apparently he's very, very good. But
Yeah.
people, I mean, if it was me, I would want my stuff turned up as damaged as some of these. I'd probably want it just replaced. I wouldn't want to then have to wait. And this seems quite widespread as well. So it wouldn't be like he would just be working on mine. There would be 8, 9, 10, 11 of these.
Yeah.
Or at £3 a pop. And I get that these are limited, but they must have. Yeah, they must have spares though. Like you must make spares for this kind of stuff.
You do. I mean, like with figures, you'll produce sort of, I don't know, a small percentage of, not necessarily full figures, but you'll produce like X quantity because you'll have your QC failures for things that maybe failed in mould or failed, or paint's crap on them or whatever. And then you've got the stuff that you've made for spare deliberately. So it's something we have to allocate and cost. So when people
the bits that are possibly more fragile and that you expect may break more often.
Well, I do it when someone sends me something to print and paint. I will always print two, because just because they're both being printed at the same time doesn't mean one won't come out without print lines and one comes out. One might fail, or one of the supports might not print, and so I've had some that just for some reason it just puts a great fucking line through the face, and you think it's just easier to print two and know that one of them will be fine and have that as a spare just in case something goes wrong. But it just seems weird to me that you wouldn't have that, particularly on something like this, which is like £3,000.
Yeah. And is it fair that you've got, you've spent the same as someone that got theirs perfect, and you've had to send yours back and have it repaired, which most people wouldn't notice the difference, but that it was broken and it's been repaired, and you've got an inferior product to someone else that got lucky and theirs didn't break. It's a lot of money. It's not.
It's the risk, like we said before about statues and how fragile they are. So it's turned up to you knackered. You send it to them, it's probably going to be a little bit more knackered. They send it back and it breaks again.
And did they make any of this clear when people ordered it? What would happen if
I don't think so. I think it's their policy, but I don't think people are aware. Equan says I wouldn't want a repaired broken car. I paid full price
for it, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It just seems bad form.
What I don't understand is why they perhaps weren't insured.
Yeah.
For postage. That's the question that I have. Over
it's a rookie mistake.
If you know that you're factoring in, you're sending these very expensive pieces. It's not plastic and PVC like Hot Toys figures and whatever. Yeah. It's something that's £3,000 and it's come out of a mould. And if you know that if they don't have replacements, or if they don't, if they don't have stuff, basically they end up doing another run, and you can't necessarily do that. I just don't know why it wasn't insured.
No, I mean, I always make sure I insure everything. So if someone sends me, I recently sent an Iconiq Batman to Sweden. He sent it over to me, I modded it, painted it, sent it off. So I insure for the cost I charged him to do it, costs for a replacement figure. So all in all, I cost it for probably about £500 just to hedge my bets. So that takes into account postage, that takes into everything, the full amount. But that's what you do, because as soon as it goes missing, or it turns up snapped in half, or you're instantly out of pocket. So for the cost of the shipping, you just do it. You just add it on. I don't get it. If you're this person, you had to declare that. And
again, it's that same thing that they've talked about on CW. You want to buy one. There's two for sale. One is perfect. The other one's been repaired. Which one are you going to buy?
Yeah.
It's. I don't think it's very good customer service there.
No, and their products are generally quite good.
Yeah.
Looking at some of the stuff they've released in the past, it's all been.
Because they're doing the chess table, aren't they, with all the figures? And
yes, that looks really good.
It does look really good, but again,
probably turn up smashed to bits. But
it
probably looked quite good. From the photos, it looked quite good.
Yeah, and they'll just be like, just stick them back together yourself. No one will know.
Yeah,
including some blue tack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Each release comes with blue tack.
The pack of blue tack. So if there's anything dropped off, just stick it back on.
Yeah, we've popped some Pritt stick in there, so just have at it. away you go. Yeah, fuck's sake. Yeah, so
It's time
I
for a
think
bit
that's
of
enough.
Johnny
of us slagging
Montana, I
off.
think.
Yeah, let's move into Custom Corner.
Custom Corner.
So I've got fuck all this week, so it's all for Pete.
Yeah, it's unusual actually. Well, one's for Steve, which is not here, but we can show it. So I don't know if you know Andy. I quite like indie
It's quite a little
Never
known
come
secret.
up. It's never come
in
up.
collecting
Yeah, he keeps it quite close to his chest.
indie figures, and
I just thought you were into whips.
That's the weekend.
yeah. This is a run from it's under Rise. It's the guy's name. He's in Asia somewhere. There's currently at any one point now. There's always at least 2 or 3 indie clothing runs going on. We bought the Iris one a couple of years ago. That was really nice. There's now a ridiculous one where someone's making a real leather jacket, and I think it's $800 just for the jacket.
It's more than my first car.
Yeah, I know, that is ridiculous, and there's no way. I never even contemplated that one, and they say it's going to be the most accurate ever and everything. But yeah, that's too
If
much.
it wants to be.
Yeah,
The thing is, you could probably buy a replica for that much for yourself.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I've got one. I think I paid £100 for it. It was second hand, but yeah, I mean, fraction of the cost. There's a rerun of the Yunsil set, which is now, I think it's about $500. It's about twice what it was originally. But then this guy popped up, and he was offering this jacket for, I think, $180, which is still a lot of money, but it's real leather, and it looked good from what he was, and he's actually then thrown in a pair of trousers and a shirt as well. So actually, compared to some of the other sets, it's very, very reasonably priced, and he's about to do a second run. It's a little bit more expensive. I think it's $230, but I've pointed a few people in the direction of this. I said, look, if you're looking at doing a custom indie, and I think you've got to go full custom now, because as we were talking last time, there's the DX05 Hot Toys was a great starting point. Even some of the Sideshow stuff, but I think things have really moved on in the last few years, and there's not a lot that you could really use on the DX05, particularly as a lot of the pleather stuff has just disintegrated.
Yeah.
So if you are looking to put together an indie at a reasonable sort of cost, then definitely have a look at this. I think it's on the not Sideshow Freaks. There's a custom 6 scale forum that was a kind of spin-off from that. So this is expected around, I think it was meant to be September. He's talking about October now, just because he's run into a few problems with I think it's become a bit more complex than he thought, because everyone has an opinion on is that accurate, is this accurate, is that accurate. And obviously the $800 one is ridiculous, because people are talking about fractions of millimeters at this scale. And I suppose if you're paying $800, fair enough. To me, this looks fantastic, and I'm a massive indie fan, but I'm not going to say, oh well, that seam needs to be another 0.5 millimeter across. It doesn't matter. It looks like it's going to be an amazing real leather indie jacket, and to get the clothing sort of thrown in pretty much for free is good. And I wasn't going to make another figure. I was just going to swap out some bits. And I thought, I've got a spare head sculpt there. I'll pick up a body.
What's the 14th indie, eh?
It'll be 13 for the actual the man himself.
Unlucky for some.
Yeah, I know.
Every time Pete builds a new figure, Harrison Ford gets injured.
Yeah, I'm like a jinx on it.
He's literally, it's just the most accurate collection of voodoo dolls. He's like, oh, you're walking Falcon around. Fuck you.
It's like, oh no, I've dropped an indie figure, and he's like, all of a sudden Harrison Ford is injured again. Yeah, and
he just keeps getting his DeLorean and his indie and just going like that.
Yeah,
Ford's jumping in front of cars again.
And there's Doggy Doc. He's doing a set of boots that look really nice. I've got no idea how much they're going to be, but they're 3D printed and they've got real laces. So I'd like to pick up a pair of those, just one, because I know they're not going to be cheap. but that would be cool just to have those. And then obviously then I've got spare holsters and whips and bags and stuff. So that's not really a problem. But yeah. So I don't talk about indie much. So I thought I'd put a bit in.
Yeah.
We've mentioned
this one. So yeah. And then Steve's been busy with his printer and his paints.
Steve's nailed this. I think
yeah.
this looks really good.
Yeah.
He's done really, really well with it. Really well.
I don't think he's painted much himself, has he? He's quite sort of a bit of a foray into...
He got an airbrush and he's killing it.
he did,
He's
didn't
doing
he?
really
Yeah.
well. Yeah, I love it. Considering
So
I don't like ET, I really like this. I think it's a really good print. It's a really good paint up. But it's really good.
Yeah, I think if I don't end up getting that Iron Studios...
Just needs a sand base.
He does.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, he doesn't. He needs the Galactic Senate thing from episode...
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah, the little floating pod. Yes.
That's how Hot Toys get around it. They've got the Star Wars license. They just start
That's
churning
it.
ET out.
Plonk it in there, yeah. Yeah, I like that.
He was in Star Wars, yeah. Yeah, I really like it. And if I don't pick up one of the Iron Studios statues, I'll probably hit him up for one of these because I do want an ET
Absolutely.
in my collection somewhere. So yeah, it's good. I like it. He's done well.
Yeah.
He's done really well there. Really impressed with it.
Yeah.
Really good. Really good.
And I think that's it for
That is it for customs.
Custom Corner.
I've worked on a few bits, but nothing's finished.
No.
I do have a Batman, actually, that I'm repainting for like the 400th time.
Which one's that?
Which
Like
is in here.
the
BVS.
Batfleck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the all black one that you're doing?
Yeah. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. Is a black BVS Batman, because originally I painted it grey ages ago, and then the chap who I did it for got a custom cape, which came pre-treated with something that stank of almonds, and it stained the suit. But it went all the way through to the body, so there wasn't much I could do. I repainted it again for him grey and left it for a week. I literally, the cape I threw in a bucket of water and left it in that to remove whatever was on there. Could not get it out of the suit though.
Really? Ooh.
Yeah, it just went whatever they'd used to extend the life of the pleather, just absolutely fucked it. So I done it grey again and picked out all the piping in black, and it looks okay. I put a post up the other week of it, and the stain on the shoulder just pissed back through again. I was like, fuck. And then I was talking to him and I was like, the only thing I can suggest, as it's quite a dark stain anyway, is paint it black. Go for a black suit.
Yep, go black, yep.
And he was like, yeah, but I don't want to keep getting you to keep doing stuff. I said, well, look, I'm easy. I've just finished an Arkham Batman, so I've got a space to do it if you wanted it painted black. And then we started talking. He sent me a few pictures of the Justice League black suit one.
Okay.
He said, well, maybe something with the silver bat symbol, and then I think he sent me a set of the eyes that I'm just going to paint white, so it's more comic based.
Yeah.
But I've quite enjoyed doing that one, to be fair. Like, I've
What
repainted
sort of
all
paint
the
are
pouches.
you using on the suits to?
Just watered down acrylic.
Okay.
Watered down acrylic.
And it doesn't
and
crack
sealed.
at all.
No, because it's a weird material. It's cloth with like a PVC like coating on it. Yeah, so it kind of, if you water the paint down, it kind of soaks in.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
Yeah, it's not just sitting on the surface. Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't rub off very easily at all. Like with the Arkham ones, I always advise people when you're handling it, hand it by the gauntlets, the pants, the back symbol, because it's rubber. Like, you can't do much to keep it on there. If you really rub at it, you will rub it off. But this has come out okay, so I just need to do the chest and the other bits and put a couple of photos up. But that's pretty much all I've been working on at the moment. I've got loads of stuff I need to paint, but I don't know where the fucking time's going lately. I really don't. But yeah, that's
cool.
me.
Yep. So it's the time of the show where we give a shout out, big thanks to our Patreon members for supporting the show, the network. A lot of you helped us out big time on getting to the 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which was a couple of weeks ago, which was fantastic, and that's kind of launched us into kind of, I suppose, phase 2 of CW now. We're forging on and trying to get towards the 10,000 next, I suppose, will be the next goal. So yeah, to give them a shout out, we've got Ben Porter, Sean Fear, Ian Seaby, Rene Mendes, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, Leo Hernandez, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, James Colley, Dan Lee, Dini Martin, Stephen Krepp, Big Fern, King Zach, Caesar Mariquin, Mike Cruz, Lisa Martin Bomonsky, Rick DiGregorio, Alvin Jules, The Everyday Collector, Ricardo Valdez, Bowler Boyd, Jimmy James, Mario Cortez, Stephen Percher, Sean Yahtzee, Scott Bradley, Stephen Maria Stanley, Jesse Contreras, Lord Voldemort, Eddie Manzanares, Joe Corpus, and Mr. and Mrs. JB. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and for the July Patreon benefits, we initially just had the Clips sticker, which is on Instagram, I believe, and that's all the funniest bits and pieces. I'm hoping there'll be a few from tonight's show because Ian was on fire earlier on, so I think we'll definitely have to send some timestamps to Eddie or John to stick on clips. The Mount Cletmore magnet, which is the like the founding fathers of CW. You've got Dean, Zach, Manny, and Rainer. Yep, Rainer. And but we've thrown in a little special, the 1,000 subscriber sticker there. So little bonus there. If you're not currently a Patreon and you want to get involved, we've got 3 tiers. We've got the Sweet Angel tier, which is $5 a month. There's a sticker sent straight to your door, as well as access to Ox After Dark replay. So for those of us in a non-US time zone, unless you are frequently up at 3 in the morning, you're not going to catch that live. So this gives you the opportunity to watch it at a more convenient time. The Certified Crispy gives you all of the benefits of the previous tier, plus a official Certified Crispy certificate on first pledge and assistance with figure fixes by Zach. Obviously, again, that's sort of more US based, but myself and Ian are always happy to help out with any advice or hints and tips you want on figures that need fixing, or you're looking to do some custom stuff. We've had to introduce international postage, so because I think the postage has gone up crazy everywhere now, and Zach's found that it's costing him a fair bit. So he may need to cover some international postage costs for the certificates. But I think they're offering to, again with the next tier, to send you a digital file to just print off yourself if you prefer. And then the top tier is the What a Guy tier. You get a signed Collected Weekly Live 18x24 silhouette poster. Doubles all the stickers we send, so you can send them to your friends and family and get everyone else on board. A man in here will paint one sculpt a year for you once you've been in the tier for 3 months. And again, you're responsible for shipping and customs and all that stuff, and providing the head sculpt. So you can either pay, if you're not in the US, you can either pay extra for the postage, or you can just have a printable file, whichever you prefer. Just a quick shout, we're on TeePublic, so we've got a number of, this is just a selection of the t-shirts that you can get with some of the show logos or some of the classic quotes from shows gone by. You can also get these printed on mugs and mouse mats and face masks even. So if you want to support one of your favourite show, go on to TeePublic and have a look what they've got there. And we've got a special Pride t-shirt, which I guess it's still available. I think Pride Month finished a couple of days ago, but I think it's still available to buy. And obviously all the proceeds from that are going to a charity called Trevor in the US that helps vulnerable people from the Pride community. So that's a good cause. And the final slide, Ian, I always let you take us through the rest of the network.
Yeah, so this is our jam-packed network with everything we have to offer. So we have Small Talk, which is the smaller side of life, the little tiny things, little tiny figures, 6-inch, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff you used to play when you were a kid, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
we got collecting rarities. They were doing porn mags last time, so we're not only a network that actively encourages you to shave your ball sack, we also encourage you to watch copious amounts of porn.
To play with your smooth balls.
Yeah, something for everyone, really.
I'm sure
and then
there's
we
an ET one as well. So
I'm sure there's an extra testicle one. I'm sure there is. In fact, ET got rather carried away with the grooming kit and just went all the way round, top to bottom, like a wet seal. And then we've got Collecting Weekly live unboxing. If John has a figure from 10 years ago that he hasn't opened, he will unbox it live on air for you.
Yeah.
Then we've got Collecting Weekly, which is, the rest of them. They're fine. They're good guys. Then we have In and Outs of Collecting, which is literally the in and outs of collecting statues. Every little nook and cranny. Any mention of a reissue will send John into an angry rage. Effectively, it's a lot of episodes. It's probably 3 hours of bullying Eddie, really, which is quite fun to watch. It's good. And then we have After Dark, which is the sordid side of the network, really. We don't really talk about that too much. Perversions. I mean, the porn was fine, but the stuff they get onto to on After Dark is just depraved and should be ashamed of themselves. Really.
You were brave to jump in on that last time, Andy.
It was 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
I've done that a couple of times where I wake up and I go, oh yeah, I could jump on
still
that.
Live,
I think there's that or there's coffee. I tend to err for the coffee and then go off and do something else. And then we got OFAC. What can we say? The Jewel in the Crown. If you can abide by my terrible presenting skills, then God bless you. We are here. Every other week we soldier on. We plough on. We're kind of like that awkward rash that won't go away. We're here. We're going to bug you a little bit, but we're there. Ultimately, we're fun to scratch. And then we've got CW Clips, which is a little clip bit that anything that's funny gets put on there, so we're not on there a lot. And then you've got Ox Plays, which has turned into Zach playing Flight Simulator alone in his room for probably 6 hours ago.
I actually watched him fly from De Gaulle to Gatwick. Riveting it was.
Flight Simulator has realistic rain.
If you're struggling to sleep, stick it on.
Give it a go.
Listen to Zach's dulcet tones.
Yeah,
and
as he's landing at factually incorrect airports around the world. So that's our network. And if I'm honest, if you are interested in any of that after my description, you are a better man than me. Because I'm pretty sure I've sold that. So that is us. It's well worth giving us all a listen. Perhaps the other shows more than us, if I'm honest. But that is us, and I think we've now gone 3 hours and 11 minutes.
Yeah, well done. Thanks for sticking with us, Andy. It's been
no danger, mate. No danger.
I'm sure we thoroughly put you off of ever coming back.
Not at all. Not at all. And mate, I was crying laughing earlier, so
it was good fun.
Yeah, we might start a new section of just describing figure and made up movie plots, because I think that could be fun.
I'm totally up for that. I mean, I remember some truly horrible customs and things like that I've seen back in the day, and obviously people try. And it's great, but I can't lie that I've turned my phone around before and shown Joe and gone, oh my God, look at that. Every one of us has done it.
Our chat is literally 90% of screenshots of me going, what the fuck is this? What is going on? I can't help myself. I have to vent. What's that? Also, thanks, Pete, for reaching out.
Yeah, so Mark's looking at launching a Lord of the Rings podcast, and
the one podcast to rule them all.
Exactly. So I've said I'd love to be on there because I'm a massive Lord of the Rings.
It's funny that, because do you know, for ages I've been saying I want to go back and watch Lord of the Rings, but I can't be asked to go out and buy it.
You found it, didn't you?
Turns out I've owned a copy for about 5 years, and it's been in the rack with everything else.
So you blew the dust off of it, and
I blew the dust off of it, and I've started watching Fellowship of the Ring.
Yep.
That's the right one, the first one.
It is, yes, yep.
Don't watch the wrong ones. That's
No.
you know.
No,
Very confusing.
I did watch 4001 Ring, and that was interesting.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Frodo Baggins and all that. But anyway, so I've had to watch it in 3 chunks because I kept drifting off, and it wasn't because I wasn't interested, it's because it's so fucking long.
I don't think yours are even the extended editions.
No, they're not. They're the standard. They're the standard 3-hour
You got about
affair.
not the 4-hour ones.
Yeah,
I like the extended ones because the plot actually flows a little bit better.
Oh, they're amazing.
My favourite part so far was watching Sean Bean do the "Wonders Not Simply" part,
because it's been memed so much, hasn't it?
It's been so much of it has been memed so much. I was like, that's a meme. That's a meme, and I fucking love that meme. Because if there's anything I love, it's a fucking meme.
You do.
So, see, I can't watch The Hobbit anymore after that whole Super Mario Legolas scene.
So I love The Hobbit, and I love the video that goes round of I can't remember the actor's name now. The guy who plays Bilbo Baggins, and there's a video going round. Yeah, that's it, of him going round, and every time he sees this particular cameraman, he's just going as the Hobbit. And if you can find it, it's absolutely fantastic, because he'd just be walking along and all of a sudden he's just going like that to the cameraman. It's brilliant. But yeah, anyway, that's enough of our blabbering.
Yeah, let's get off this. I'll get off of this before midnight.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you everyone in the comments.
Cheers, everyone.
Anytime, mate. Anytime. We'll see you all later.
Yeah.
Bye.